Hi, Mark.
Hi, guys.
We're going live now. We're live, guys. Hello, people. People of the world. People all over the world tuning in to Geeky Weekly. The masses, the tumult of people.
Is there any?
You know, the mass. Yeah, I've said masses already. I can't think of anything else. Oh, it's zero. Oh, it's zero again. Oh, bugger. But I'm sure that everyone who's not watching is eager not to see what Kyle's got recently. At least the three of us who've turned up to watch him have. Darren's not even here. Darren's here but not here. So do you want to wait for Darren to turn up before you open your box, Kyle?
Sure. I do love showing this 2007 postcard.
Okay, you've either got very big hands or very small Captain America.
Yeah. Signed.
That's Trump's Captain America. That is. It's shrunk. It's shriveled appreciatively since Trump took
it's a
over.
2007 postcard.
Okay.
Signed by Alan Bellman, one of Marvel's Golden Age artists.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
The guy that worked on Captain America in the 40s, so I just thought that was neat.
That was
He turns up. It's going to take me a minute to open this box anyway.
Is that right, Kyle?
I'll be 10 minutes.
All right. The mail came in about an hour ago, and I thought, well, what the hell? I'm going to share this. I'm going to open it. This is one comic book. Of course, there's nobody on here for me to prod with this bit of trivia. Not even truth adjacent trivia, which I am tickled by.
Is it Charlie Chaplin related or?
But, yeah, it is. But the question is, or the statement was that the massive significance to this in the MCU, both past and future.
Both past and future.
Yeah, massive significance in regards to that.
Not comic books in general, but just the MCU.
The MCU, not really relevant to comic books.
Right. So is it to do with the movies?
Yeah.
So it's Charlie Chaplin's.
The simple question is, where did the MCU start?
Well, it started when Disney took over. Bought Marvel.
No, Disney didn't take over Marvel for like 10 years after that. What was the first official MCU movie?
Is it Iron Man, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Iron Man. And then you think of where...
the company that bought Iron Man out? Is that what you're talking about?
Toilet paper.
Oh, yeah.
I got toilet paper in here. From a local Michigan newspaper. There's my invoice.
Izal brings the memories.
Mark,
You remember Izal, Mark?
Sorry?
Lots of bubble wrap.
Did you cover stringer this week, Mark?
No, we've got Claire's invited the neighbours round.
Okay.
I was saying Izal toilet paper. Do you remember that, Mark? Rich fruit clean paper.
Oh, that was terrible. Remember that as a kid at school. That did nothing but fucking make a mess, that stuff.
That's right.
How can you gauge how rare a comic book is? By how many copies are on the CGC census?
No, that's not necessarily true, Kyle.
Well, the scarcity and the value, you know what I'm saying. But what I'm opening
I've
here,
got lots of one-of-ones because nobody else has bothered to have one graded.
There are zero of these on the CGC census. And there will continue to be zero of these on the CGC census.
Are they too big, though?
Because they can't grade it.
Are they too big to grade, yeah?
Yeah, they haven't figured out a way to do it yet. They haven't figured out it. Now, mind you, this is your standard format comic book in 1917.
Yeah, it's wrapped well.
Yeah. Well, considering its value, which is ironic because I didn't pay but a percentage of its value.
Wow. Does that not indicate that's the value then? If there's not many of them around and you've paid X amount for it, surely the X amount you paid is its current value.
Had they had any sense, they would have charged me 5 to 10 times what I got this for.
All right.
It was a nice little antique dealer. Nothing about comic books or anything like that. Just a nice little antique dealer couple.
Off eBay?
And there might be 10 of these in existence still out there.
Is that a comic, Kyle? Does it open up?
Yep.
Oh, 10%.
Oh, that's very nice. Very
That's
nice.
such an unruly size, isn't it?
Oh, look at the back. It's great.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is cool, Kyle. I do like that.
5 books in the set. I've got 3 of them now.
1917.
Really good condition as well,
1917.
Kyle. Really
Yeah.
nice condition for 1917.
World War One had only just started then, hadn't it?
Yeah.
The U.S. wasn't even in World War I when this came out. Yeah. A
Damn.
color. Yeah, it's extraordinarily rare. And as long as you're not a condition snob, which again, I mean, for what its age and size and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
1917.
Gray, don't listen.
Really-
You're a bit of a condition snob. Gray will only have a comic if it's low grade.
But if you're not a condition snob, this is a jaw dropper. And again, his popularity could be measured at this time. His popularity, if you took Muhammad Ali, Lionel Messi, the biggest actor in Hollywood right now, and put them all together, they still wouldn't add up to a sliver of this guy's popularity back then. Not a sliver of it. I mean, this guy's shadow is more famous than 99% of the celebrities. Just an image of the shadow of the tramp
Yeah, that's really good, Carl.
is just mind-boggling. Tempest, I can't go upstairs today. I know I talked about showing off my Rick Parker artwork he did of me, but I am not digging that up right now. I'm not crawling upstairs. I had 2 hours at the doctor's and hospital today. So. But
How was
yeah,
it?
back to my original statement. What is the significance to the MCU to this? Massive.
Is it the same?
significance.
Is it the same company that he did his films for? Did MCU later on?
Nope. Chaplin himself is kind of the answer if you think about it.
Who looks slightly like Chaplin? Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Okay, see, you already got it, but Robert Downey Jr. in the late 80s, early 90s
He played
was a
Chaplin.
burnout actor. He was washed up. Nobody gave a shit anymore. What did he do to get back in the limelight?
Played Charlie Chaplin.
He played Charlie Chaplin.
Did he?
That role in Chaplin, which got him an Academy Award nomination, got serious directors to take him serious. And when they talked about, you know, why they wanted him for Tony Stark, Chaplin was the tentpole. The portrayal in Chaplin was the tentpole. Robert Downey Jr. would have faded off into obscurity had he not come back. He probably would have just turned into another Hollywood doped out statistic. And when he played Chaplin, it relaunched his career, reinvigorated him. He's even said it. He's even said without the success of that movie, and then my friends helped me get my head out of my ass, that he would have been a nobody. He would have been an actor that was in some movies in the 80s. But yeah, there you go, Darren. How's that for a 1917? That's a 1917 comic book.
I still can't work out why he's playing Doctor Doom. I just don't. It just seems silly to me to have him play such massive MU.
Great. I don't understand this. People fail to understand the concept of an actor.
Yeah, I know what an actor is, but it's in the same movie franchise. It just doesn't make sense to me.
If you're in the Shakespeare
he's
company,
in the same universe where he's Iron Man, like literally a couple of years.
But he's also Sherlock Holmes.
Who will play Hamlet, King Lear,
Yeah, I know that. But they're not
He is also
connected, are
Sherlock
they? They're not
Holmes, so you
connected.
can't avoid that one. All right, this
Like,
is
it's
going
like
in
someone
flat
playing
because I'm not
Batman and then come
smoking
back and
anywhere
playing the
near
Joker.
this.
It doesn't
Yeah,
make
but
any sense.
I think
He
it's
may be
a
a good actor, but
personally, I think it's a total publicity stunt.
I just don't think there's a million bloody more actors around who can do it just as good.
It's to bring Iron Man
whatever.
back. I think it's just to bring Iron Man back, Phil.
Do you want to know the plot? I'll tell you what the plot is. Dr. Doom is able to transfer his mind to other bodies and sometimes escapes devious traps by transferring his consciousness.
He has
when
done that.
Tony Stark did the click, he transferred his consciousness somewhere, but he was like, concentrating on killing Thanos, so he didn't really know where. It ended up in the Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four universe.
That would be too confusing, Dan.
I honestly believe it's a publicity stunt. It's to bring back Iron Man. I think it's to bring back Iron Man because he doesn't even have the body of a Doctor Doom, does he?
I think that's less of a problem. It's not like probably Michael Keaton playing Batman. When Michael Keaton was set to play Batman, I was like, what the bloody hell? How can that little stick insect play Batman? It's ridiculous.
But he did look like a stick insect, though, didn't he?
It was the worst Batman ever. Anyway, that's my opinion. Oh, well. Anyone got any new books this week? Did you manage to get anything in them auctions you were talking about last time, Mark?
Yeah, I've got some books. I got from auctions. There's some here I got from an auction a few weeks ago. It was actually nearly a month ago. They only arrived today. So it's from an auction in Chippenham, which I have been there once, actually. I went to the auction house last time. It's one of these places that is not known for comics, which is good. So I bought about 4 lots, and because there was like 120 comics, 30 quid, 150 comics, and they all went for 30 quid. There's all this, and they're sort of comics from the 2000s. And I'm thinking, why have I done this? I'm just going to have a load of rubbish to get rid of again. But I've just unpacked the first lot, and I paid 30 quid for this 120 comics, and some of it is rubbish, but hidden in it was this stuff, which is worth. These are worth. I reckon this little lot together is worth about 80 and 90 quid, and I paid 30 quid for the whole lot, so I can put all the rest in the bin.
Oh yeah.
Dawn number 1.
You got a full collection of her in you?
Michael Linzner from about 96. Dawn number 2. Dawn number 3. It's a full set of Dawn.
Right.
Dawn number 4. I've got most of these. I haven't got 3, so that'll be going into the PC. I don't think I've got 6. I've got that one. Haven't got this one, so that'll be going in the PC. Not only that, but also a full set of Crypt of Dawn. This one's really funny. So this is Crypt of Dawn, issue 1, special edition, and this is signed by Joe Michael Linzner, right?
Right.
It's signed in the back, and this on the back it says it's got this with it. This book, Crypt of Dawn 1, has no certificate because you, dear reader, are cooler than that. Joseph Michael Linzner. Now, I just thought this was something the comic store had written, put in with the comic, but it isn't. When I go on eBay, there's a couple of copies of this, and it's got the same certificate with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's signed by Joe Michael Linzner on the back.
I swear
cover.
she'll
He'd be happy
on
to
that
come
last
on
cover
the
you
show
showed.
here. I just don't think anybody but me and Mark can talk to him about much.
No, there he is. He's signed the back cover.
Right.
So effectively got that for 30p.
Nice.
It's worth about 20 quid.
Nice.
Number
Good
2, number 3, and I haven't got these. I've got number 2, I think. I haven't got number 3. Certainly haven't got number 1.
So you're keeping them then?
I'll be keeping the ones I haven't got. Yeah.
Do you have the insanely rare Cry for Dawn series?
I've got the full set. Kyle. Yeah.
Of Cry for the
first one, Cry for Dawn. Yeah.
Yeah, that Cry for Dawn stuff is impossible to get a hold of.
Yeah, no, I bought it when it came out, Carl.
Yeah.
Is there not one called Crack of Dawn yet?
No, it's not.
Every issue is Crack of Dawn.
You can see the Crack of Dawn.
I know on that one. You pretty much can. That's what I was thinking. Shocking.
So that was in a set of comics that I bought for 30 quid. I could throw the rest away.
All right. Well, if this is not worthy of this little video, then I don't know what it is.
You dirty old man.
Couldn't hear it.
Man.
Yeah. Like, Mark, if you don't have a point of contact for him, I could probably put him with you because I guess you'd probably rather have him on your show.
Yeah, I could actually. I do have a way of contacting him because I know somebody.
He'll do it. He'll do it in a heartbeat. He'd love to do something.
He must be getting on a bit. He must be a bit our sort of age.
He must be what?
He must be our sort of age.
About 15, 20 years younger.
Oh, do you think so? Okay, right.
But
also in this auction, Terry, I think I'm collecting Simpsons. Well, they had a lot of Futurama comics. So I thought, and I think they're quite pricey. And I got this lot for 40 quid. So got Futurama #1.
Oh, that's a nice one.
#2. I don't know what's happened to 3 and 4, but I've got #5.
What was the biggest print run on any of those? Like 15,000?
Yeah, the really low print runs, which is
why
why
low print runs.
The lowest was the sort of the 80s because it cost me a fortune to get the last few.
Yeah, that's right. The last ones are the most expensive because the print run goes right down to less than about 3,000.
So
it's the same as
there was actually 2 more issues of that, but they only did it as on the computer. You know, you could digital.
Oh, digital.
Online only, right?
Yeah.
2 digital copies.
Bongo, we've had Hillary Bart on here talking about it. Yeah. Bongo folded up while they were still printing books.
Yeah. And then all I've got to show is this will be in a video.
Are they not doing anything now? Are they completely shut down?
Yeah, they're completely shut down. They stopped totally. A really high grade Doom Patrol.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Bongo still owns the rights to all that stuff, to publish the rights for all that stuff, but they can't afford to do it.
No.
Well, Bongo is owned by the creator.
This is a really high grade Doom. This is a really early Doom Patrol. I can't remember.
I've never seen that one before. Thought I'd seen most of them, but I've never seen that one.
No, I'd not seen this one before either, Terry.
It changed to Doom Patrol in '89. What issue number is that?
That's 114.
Okay. I think it was 89, like 84 to 89. It was
still, you're right,
121.
I have got the first Doom Patrol.
Yeah. Like in the 80s, it was I can't even remember what it was now.
It was
Star Spangled something or other.
No. It's My Greatest Adventure.
My Greatest Adventure.
Yeah,
there you go.
Well done, Bill.
Hey guys.
Nice shirt, Bill.
Bill, did you see my goodies for the day?
What?
Did you see my goodies for the day?
No, I did not.
How is your not drinking going, Bill?
Great. I've lost over 20 pounds.
Well done.
In 2 weeks.
Just from not drinking. Blimey, you must have drunk a lot.
I mean, I've also had the flu, so I mean, I don't want to act like it's all me, but you know.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
There you go, Bill. Since you weren't here, nice little postcard.
Oh, that's beautiful. Who's
Recognize that signature?
This is a postcard from back in the day when the Americans opposed Nazism.
Yeah.
And before we embraced it.
So
yeah,
that's an Alan Bellman signature.
Oh,
no, it's a bit of a chronological.
Sadly, Alan was one of the biggest Trump supporters I ever knew. He was completely fooled by Trump.
We're going to make Russia great again.
That's a comic book.
Yeah, sadly, you're right.
That's a comic book.
Yeah, that's a good one.
1917.
In the year
In color.
1917.
Yeah, it's nice colour as well on it.
How did they sell those? I can't believe those went on a newsstand.
Or a bookstore.
Yeah, they're really big, isn't they? They're massive, isn't they?
Yeah.
They were huge. Well, there weren't the number of magazines that there were, years later. That was still the early days of newsstands.
The first issue of it is an actual coloring book. They put them out for kids' books. They put them out so you could throw them on the floor and have little kids read them.
You got a bag and board for that, Carl?
Oh, no, I got to make it. I got to make it all myself.
Yeah.
I will probably complete that set before I die. I could this week, but I'm not dumping stupid money into that. Just to own it.
You read them.
So it could take me 20 years to get stuff that I want.
Does he have any supporting cast, regular supporting cast in the comic book, or is it just him plus various other?
Well, it's whoever he is with, the stars he was with at the moment. He was married to two of his leading ladies, so.
Right.
And he was a fucking weirdo. And there is no. He was the original Jerry Lee Lewis.
Have you ever noticed that he and Eddie Redmayne look almost identical? Like when Chaplin didn't have makeup on. I'm
still
surprised
don't see it.
Yeah. No. If you put them side by side, it's hard to tell them apart. I'm not kidding. I'm not a big Redmayne fan.
I've still talked to him. He hasn't really given me a clue yet, but that, relatively speaking, your guys do. I'm telling you, Chaplin's grandson would end up doing it.
That's great.
So
I
don't know. You got to catch him in the mood.
To him the other day who Stan Freberg was, because I was trying to get Stan's son on the show, but nobody even knows. And Stan was one of the greatest voiceover talents of all time, and he also took over Michigan Avenue in the '60s and created some of the greatest commercials of the '60s, like High Karate. A lot of the really awesome commercials from the '60s, he created it. And then, of course, his son was the annoying kid on the Encyclopedia Britannica commercials, and Stan did the voiceovers on those too. Cool. So I'm trying to get his son on there.
Adverts are better than the High Karate adverts.
Yeah, they're hilarious, man.
Yeah, Chaplin.
You have the fruit adverts there. I think you probably had the same people in your Brute adverts as we did. It was always like British sportsmen in our adverts, Henry Cooper and James Hunt and that, wasn't it? Splash it all over.
Yeah.
Chaplin's grandkid, like this past year, did a great interview with Simon Pegg. They talked Star Trek for most of it.
Oh, that's nice. That's
I
not
saw
nice.
I think you put a link to it.
What is that from What's My Line, Kyle?
It's really dark in this room, isn't it? It's hard to get the light in this room.
Famous Gorilla.
There's some great covers on My Greatest Adventure.
Oh yeah,
I'd not even heard of My Greatest Adventure till maybe a couple of years ago.
Really?
I hadn't even heard of that title. I'd never seen them anywhere.
I got bees flying in here right now. Last week, there's still snow melting out in my front yard. It was like 5 degrees and snowing and ice. And now it's 60 degrees and I have bees flying in my garage.
That looks like Metal Man. What is that? The Robot Man?
Robot Man, yeah. I got some of the Doom Patrol Greatest Adventure. That's the first one. There's Rita on the front.
Does it say Doom Patrol? That's before. Okay.
No, that's before it becomes Doom Patrol, but it's got Doom Patrol written at the top.
Yeah.
There's rumors that Doom Patrol may be in the new DCU. I'm hoping that's true because I thought the TV series was probably one of their best.
I love the TV series.
It was amazing. Man. Mark, what do you think of that actress? I can't think of her name now, but she played Madame Rouge. And she was the Missy on Doctor Who.
Was that her?
I know her. Yeah, the
Scottish,
evil one.
She's Scottish, but she has a Hispanic last name.
Yeah,
I think this is the first Doom Patrol.
It is the first Doom Patrol. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah, I like her. I think she's a good actress.
She's fantastic, and
she's very
you know,
engaging.
she's been on everything.
Yeah, she has. Yeah,
I liked her as Missy. I saw her as Missy. I thought she was quite fun.
she was in she was the sort of evil woman in Luther as well. Did you ever watch the Luther?
No, Lisa liked Luther.
Oh, was that her?
Yeah.
Was she the killer who was his hand who helped him out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked her. I never knew. I didn't realize that was her.
I think it was her. Yeah, fairly sure it was her. Yeah.
I love that Doom Patrol.
Luther
was
great.
The Doctor Who actors quitting. Did you hear that rumor?
I've heard it, but you know, I mean, come on. He's been so maligned in the last year. I mean, I can hardly blame him.
You reckon he's got about
one of the best doctors ever, I think. But
he's got about 4 films being offered to him in America, so he's in that way, I think.
Hey, Graham, you want to hear something crazy? That issue with the dinosaur composite man thing, whatever that.
Yeah,
what is that thing called? Animal, mineral, vegetable man, or whatever.
Yeah, animal, mineral, vegetable man.
Yeah, that comic book was in my original 97. That's one I've been looking for. One of the original 97. My brother
was it
gave
that
me.
one or was it the reprint one? Because I'm sure that cover is used as the reprint one as well. So I think I've got it here actually.
It's in both, but I had the original one because I have the reprint one upstairs. The reprint one's like 121.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's the reprint.
Yeah, that's a good cover. I like that cover.
Yeah, that's like that's issue 121, right?
Is it not the same as this one that I showed a minute ago? But
yeah, it's the same thing.
Is that a Premiani cover, Kyle?
Yeah, that's Premiani.
You got that one. That one on that one.
That's the same cover.
And the original was
I'm
in
a sucker. I buy the reprint.
My brother gave me in 1980.
Oh wow!
I buy the reprints as well as the originals because I'm a sucker.
But I've got the reprint upstairs, but sooner or later I got to hit one of the originals. I'm pretty close to actually finishing that 97, but I hesitate to do it.
Yeah.
You know, sooner or later I'll get X-Men 15, but I hate getting there with stuff. I'd rather keep looking than getting there.
Yeah.
Travel than arrive.
Cheers, mate. Let's see what any more I've got. But it's the first Beast Boy.
Yeah, that's why I knew who Bruno Premiani even was, because that's what started piquing my curiosity.
So they have announced Teen Titans movie.
Have they?
Yes, they have.
There's about 24 things they've announced. DC have announced, haven't they?
Well, yesterday they dropped all the animated series, and most of those are PG for kids.
Yeah.
Most of them, they announce things, then drop them. And then
they got a dynamic duo that's supposed to be with puppets. So
what?
Nice is his next.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be great. I like using different medium. I don't have a problem with that at all. I'd love to see something along the lines of the Jerry what's his face? The guy did Super Marionation.
Jerry Anderson.
I'd love to see something along those lines, you know, with Batman and Robin. That would be awesome. Yeah.
That is Mark is being even better than the show itself.
One of the best shows I ever saw at the Edinburgh Fringe was Thunderbirds Are Go comedy. It was and they all dressed up as the Thunderbirds and they put Thunderbirds on their heads.
Yeah.
And they did Thunderbirds.
I've heard about that.
Versus Captain Scarlet. I mean, I just never stopped laughing. I nearly had to have artificial.
You know, there's a kind of jazz band in England that does all they do is the Jerry Anderson music. And they do a wonderful Captain Scarlet, and they have these great these beautiful female backup singers singing Captain Scarlet, and it's so good, man.
Scarlet and the Mysterons.
Yeah, dun dun dun.
I thought Turnip would have been funny here, but man, that looks like something else. Hey, I saw something a couple weeks ago, had me thinking. I forgot to mention it before. That kind of threw me off because I didn't really know either one of them at the time. What does Jimmy Olsen from the 1950s Superman TV show and the animated Batman have in common?
Wait, say that again.
What does Jimmy Olsen from the 1950s TV show and Batman from the animated series have in common?
Larson did some of the voices on the Filmation version.
Well, that's true too, but I'm actually saying Batman himself and Jimmy Olsen himself, what do they have in common?
Same actor?
Both comic book characters.
No,
Voice?
not the same actor.
And I
Yeah,
honest to
like-
God, I didn't know. I knew
don't know,
which
what?
one sort of, but I did not know the other. And it's
I don't know.
they're both openly gay. They were both openly gay.
Oh, okay.
I did not know
Owen-
that. I did
wait,
not know
Owen-
Kevin
Owen-
Conroy was openly
I
gay.
have, I have to
Owen-
say,
Owen
I have to
Sewell-
say,
Owen Sewell
shock
wasn't
horror.
gay.
Jimmy Olsen gay. I mean, that's a big
Hey,
surprise.
he's
well,
Mr.
see,
Action.
I
Don't hate
kinda
the
knew that
player.
actor was,
Olin
Kind
Sewell
of.
wasn't gay.
huh?
Olin Sewell wasn't gay.
Do what?
Olin Sewell, the voice of Batman, was not gay.
Kevin Conroy,
No, he's talking about Kevin Conroy.
Of the later series.
the
I thought you
animated
meant
Yeah,
series,
Batman the
Batman the
animated
animated.
yeah.
series.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know Kevin Conroy was openly gay. I didn't know it.
yeah.
Okay.
I did not know
Yeah.
that. I mean, he didn't come out until late in life, but I did not know he was openly gay. I was like, you got to be
Yeah.
shitting me. I was watching this retrospective, of gay actors who had passed away. And I was like, I kind of knew that about Jimmy Olsen. They got to Kevin Conroy, and I was like, no shit, I didn't even know that. But he kept a lid on it for most of his life.
And I hate to break it to you, but Sal Mineo was also gay.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a lot of people, but I just thought, well, good for him, He got to live a little
You
bit of
go,
life
boy.
open.
You go, boy.
So,
Good morning, Eva. Do what you got to do. Love who you love. As simple as that.
that's
Rock
what I
Hudson
say.
was
And
also gay.
Or as Steven Stills said, love the one you're with.
Well, you know what else is gay? Dinosaurs. According to Candace Owens, dinosaurs are gay and dumb. That's what she said.
Why they? That's why they.
Didn't she marry?
Out.
Didn't Candace marry a British
That
guy
probably
whose
is, isn't it?
dad
That's probably
led
Hey,
the
lack of
Brexit?
mating, wasn't it? That's what it
can we
was.
not even say their names? We said her name once, and fuck them from here.
Well, they've been parading this crap that Megyn Kelly and Candace Owen are getting offered $400 million to be the right pundits on CBS. That's not even close to what they pay anybody. And number two, it's completely false. Nobody wants them on anything. Even Fox News doesn't even want them.
Yeah.
And Megyn Kelly got like a $80 million payoff or something like that because she was sexually harassed at work at Fox News. So
By
fuck 'em.
Fox News, no less. But again,
Yeah.
fuck them. Fuck them, fuck them,
Yeah.
fuck them, and fuck them, and fuck
And
them.
she used to not even be right wing, and then she realized that that's the only way she could make money. So,
And how much do we love Emmanuel Macron this week?
Oh, 100 times. Oh.
Told that motherfucker basically, shut up, you're lying. Right there on live
last
TV
night,
in front
last
of
night
everybody.
on Stephen Colbert, they did this thing where he's going in French. He goes, the president doesn't speak French, so now I can speak to the American people. And he goes into this whole thing about it is hilarious. It is so funny. And then Trump's sitting over there going like this and putting his hand on Macron's hand and stuff. And it's so gay. I mean, Trump is, I don't know what Trump's doing.
Suck a
I
monkey,
really don't.
Tempest. Suck a monkey.
Anybody who can make Macron look good is doing well.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to take people like Macron. Well, it's helping him. It's helping him in France because he wasn't doing so hot.
No, Macron's gone, hasn't he? He's resigned. He's
has he? Is he completely
yeah.
gone? Oh,
He
I didn't
resigned
realize
about
that.
a month ago. Yeah.
Shit! I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a
And
lame
Trudeau's
duck.
gone too, isn't he? Or is Trudeau still hanging in there?
He's a lame duck president. I mean, he's just hanging around until the next election. That's it. He came out and resigned because the economy's in so bad.
But no, it's not. Eggs and gas are supposed to be cheap as of last month.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man. Trump said so. It's got to be true.
Would you not say his fucking
Actually,
name
never
on
tells
this?
the truth.
You say his name
let's
3
look at
fucking times, you're going to call his dumbass into existence.
Well, you know,
I really do want to show all that.
But I'm going to do that
stuff
thing.
I
You know
got.
where that episode we did where Darren suddenly appeared with me. If we
Yeah.
say his name once more, I've got him in the wings, waiting to come on. Donald, get ready. We only need them to say it once more.
He comes on, I
Yeah.
take out my dick. All right, that's all there is to it.
No, out your ass, not your dick. Let's be
I'm
honest.
thinking,
But yeah, I
Anyone know
want
anything
to
about
show
golf?
off all this. I want to show off all this diplomatic stuff I got, but it's boring to most people. But there's stuff in here I had no idea.
Yeah, we're a show about comics.
what
I
on
got,
that?
I got a letter from a one-time president of the UN
Oh,
Council.
diplomatic.
It's a whole bunch of diplomat stuff. Stuff
Diplomatic.
from Senate, Congress,
Diplomatic
Secretaries
man.
of State. I now have a stack of UN memorabilia that's to die for. It's pretty fucking amazing.
Okay.
You need to find the diplomatic channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
I have to say this, Gray. I'm sorry, I've got to say this. With you sitting there on that bunk bed, dressed in that orange suit, you,
I know he always looks like he's in prison.
Say that, sorry.
it looks like you're coming from prison.
Yeah.
You're on a bunk bed in that orange
It's the
top.
Flash.
That's all right.
Orange is the new black.
Yeah, it's red, but it's just this light's not very good. This light's terrible, in fact. For
The Jeffrey Epstein
he's
of
been,
comics.
he's been arrested for crimes to comics.
Oh no, that was
Hey, I'll give him a good home. I'll treat him right.
that was
But
That's
yeah,
what I-
if I
That would
started
be
a
Neil
diplomatic,
Gaiman.
if I started a diplomatic pouch channel, it'd have even fewer viewers than we
No,
have
no,
right now.
no.
Poor old
You need to
Jimmy
have a
Olsen,
show
look.
called Diplomatic Channels. Come on, dude.
got a
It's just
poor
so
old
It wouldn't.
different.
It wouldn't
Yeah,
have
it's
any
a drawn on
viewers.
it.
And a 6 on
I've
it.
given it a good home.
A
It
good
wouldn't have any viewers.
I know, but you've deprived a rat of another meal.
I know the rat will get it eventually. Don't worry.
That's missing.
But one of the things on it was
Jimmy
from a
Olsen, the
wartime.
beetle from ancient Rome. That is one of the stupidest freaking stories ever.
One of
What are
the
you
one of the
talking
things
about?
from this guy's personal effects was like a daily ship's log for what everybody was supposed to be doing from a warship in
Great
World War II
Krypton.
during
Jimmy has started
a
the beetle
rescue
craze
operation.
here in the ancient past. He's become as popular as Ringo.
Ringo. Oh
Look at them
no!
girls. Yeah,
We-
yeah,
And
yeah.
it goes.
We need a trumpet fart for that
We
one.
all live in a yellow Parthenon.
Why don't we get a trumpet fart for that one?
Parthenon's Greek, not
Everyone,
Roman.
we all live
Colosseum would
in
make sense.
Parthenon.
Yeah. You should play a trumpet fart for that Jimmy Olsen cover.
No.
That is still one of the funniest bits ever. The fact you took that in different directions cracks me up.
Do you remember that episode of Saturday Night Live years ago, and it was called "What If"? And they go, "What if Superman had been found in Nazi Germany?" And he goes, "Yes, I am Uberman." And he goes, "And Jimmy Olsen is a Jew." He looks at his pants and can tell he's circumcised, and they take him away. It's Al Franken. Oh, it's so funny. Who became a senator, by the way. But, you know, it is so funny. And they were talking last week when they had the 50th anniversary special. They were talking about once they put on the suits in that famous episode where John Belushi was the Hulk. They once they put the suits on, Belushi felt stronger. Dan Aykroyd was faster, and it was just funny. And they go, what's his name? The black guy, I can't think of his name. Garrett Morris. And they go, and Garrett Morris had the power of a normal man. Remember that joke? He was Ant-Man. And they go, what power do you have, Ant-Man? I can shrink to the size of an ant and have the power of a normal man. And they go, ooh, get a load of this guy, power of a normal man. It's so funny. And then the Hulk goes into the bathroom.
It's a shame he
and
doesn't have the proportionate strength of an ant, isn't it, really?
Yeah, well, supposedly.
Why can't he be like Spider-Man, had the proportionate strength?
Right, but
walk up walls and
Belushi
stuff?
as the Hulk walks into the bathroom and you hear a scream and he goes, hell was I supposed to know it was Sue Storm? She's invisible. And then he comes out of the bathroom and everybody's gasping and he goes, it ain't supposed to smell like roses. And that's just a great episode.
Fair enough.
And then they followed it up about maybe 15 years later when Superman died in the comics and they had the funeral of Superman. And Sinbad was hosting that week. And he kept trying to get into the funeral. He goes, I'm Black Lightning. Don't you know who I am? I was one of the most popular superheroes in 1977. And he keeps trying to get in. And he finally gets in. And all he does is start eating all the shrimp. And and so the Hulk goes up there. It's Chris Farley. And he goes up there and he goes, Hulk son. And he puts his glasses on and he goes, and suddenly he's smart. And he goes, Superman was a friend to all, an orphan from another planet. And he goes through the entire eulogy. And then he takes the glasses off and he goes, Hulk smash. And he smashes the dais and walks away. And that stuff is great. Very well written.
Didn't they do a superhero roast or something at one point?
Oh, well, that was Hanna-Barbera. And that was supposedly, it was supposed to be funny. But it was also supposed to be somewhat serious, and it was pretty stupid.
Wasn't there like a Ghetto Man on it or something like that?
Ghetto Man.
Yeah.
There was Ghetto Man. There was Old Man. But then they had like Sinestro. They had played by Charlie Callis, who was a famous comedian. Howard Morris, who's a famous comedian, played Dr. Savannah. You had. I'm trying to remember. You had Burt Ward and Adam West as Batman and Robin, and they still look pretty young. So this was like 10 years after the series. It was actually pretty entertaining. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought I saw it once. Someone gave me a DVD of it or something. Gave me a DVD of the whole Batman series.
What do you guys think of the choice they made for Luthor in the new movie?
Who is it?
Lex Luthor, the actor. I quite like him.
It's the guy who played the Beast in the early years of the X-Men.
Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like him.
I think he's a hell of a lot better than Eisenberg. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, Eisenberg was a terrible choice.
Oh my God, that ruined my career. No, dude, you ruined your career because you were horrible. I don't hate all the
Apparently,
stuff.
he applied for the Superman role. He actually wanted the Superman role. And James Gunn said to him, look, I don't want you to be Superman because I think you'd be a fantastic Lex Luthor.
I can't imagine him as Superman.
No. So I think he'd be really good. I think he's a really good actor. So
He is.
Oh, you mean Nicholas Hoult applied for Superman?
Yes.
I thought you meant Jesse Eisenberg.
That. Oh, he would have been a good Superman. Yeah, I thought you meant Jesse Eisenberg.
No. The guy...
I'm from Krypton. Okay.
Jesse Eisenberg should have played Mr. Mxyzptlk. Is what he played.
Exactly. Who was the first actor to play Mr. Mxyzptlk on television?
God, I love that dude. I can never remember his name.
It's
he was Andy in Scrooged.
And he was also in Big Something or Little Something Big Halsey with Robert Redford.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Was he in
such
that?
a great little actor? Those bits he did of Mr. Mxyzptlk were beautiful.
Yeah, he was really good. And then later, Gilbert Gottfried played him.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried was actually pretty damn good. And then they got Gilbert Gottfried from live action to play him in the cartoon.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Hey, I got my Gilbert Gottfried swag down here, but ain't digging out nothing else.
I've worked out how to say Mr. Mixie Lickpick.
No, it's Mr. Mxyzptlk.
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 It started out Mxyzptlk and they took it from there.
Mr. Mxyzptlk.
What is it backwards?
Xanadu.
You're not fooling us that way, Mark. You have to try harder than that to get us to say our names backwards.
Yeah,
We're not going to be
suddenly Gray says it, and suddenly he disappears in his orange outfit.
Damn it! I was hoping you were all going to disappear.
Oh, I guess
to the
today
fifth
mine
dimension.
is Pin Nut. My
Pin
name
Nut.
backwards today.
My name backwards is quite good, actually. I sound Russian. It's Kram Diodlo.
Blimey, Cram.
I was today years old when I found out that Tintin was based on a real young journalist who won a contest for a trip around the world to write about it to young people.
Called Nick Nick.
No, called Nitwit. No, it was not. No, he was Danish. He was Danish, actually.
Hey, Bill. Now we know the truth. Your name backwards is Lib. God damn it, you goddamn Lib.
I am a Lib.
Yeah.
Depends. If it's it'd be Yib if you pronounce it Spanish. Two L's make a Y sound, don't they?
Lib de Leaf.
Yeah, but it's your name William or Bill.
If it's Welsh, it'll be something like that.
You're Nerad.
Nerad, tell off.
You're at
Sound like a Silver Surfer.
Cram.
Yeah, you're nearly.
Okay, Bill, is your Christian name William?
Yes.
Yes. So it's not Bill anyway.
No.
So,
no, it's not.
No.
And my middle initial is not Traymond, as people joke about. It's Raymond. If it was Traymond, my initials would be WTF. And I joke. I'm the third. I'm the third. So my dad told me I had to,
WTF the third.
Yeah, well, my dad said
Michael
I had to
J.
drop
Pollard.
the third after
Thanks,
he
Eric.
died because
Yeah.
I'd be the only William Raymond Field. And
I
Michael J.
love
Pollard.
Michael
Thank you,
Pollard.
Eric. Yeah.
Michael Pollard. He is so. You just want to
was on
pinch his
Miri.
goddamn cheeks.
He
He's
was on
in
Miri,
Roxanne
he
with
was-
Steve Martin too. He played that fucking.
He was also on Lost in Space.
he's been in a film that's an evil character in a film as well that I couldn't remember.
Probably.
It's the
I've
first
no
time
idea
I
it is.
saw him, and he was very, very very, very scary.
He's
Well,
just
he was in
just
Little
that little
Hobbs, Big
cute
Hall.
guy.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, he died.
Oh.
He was perfect for Mexopetlik. He's just perfect for it. He was an imp. He was a walking imp.
His first wife was Vera on the TV show Alice.
Yeah.
Yeah, strangely enough. And supposedly he was a
Kiss
real
my grits.
prick.
Of course, those guys aren't going to have any idea what that
got a
is.
clue what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to ask you guys, because I know some of you guys like Doctor Who, like I do. Have you guys seen any of those animated recreations that you thought were worth a damn?
I've never seen any.
Oh, really?
No, is that you're talking about where they've lost the original film and they've made animations
Right,
of them
but they
instead?
have the audio, and
yeah,
it almost looks like cutouts walking around. It's so bad, and they doubled down and they did one on the whatever the toy maker, not Intergalactic, but the something toy maker, which is a very famous episode starring the guy who played Alfred in the first 4 Batman movies.
Oh yeah,
Michael. Can't remember his name.
I know his name. Michael Goff.
Yeah. Apparently, that guy was a real dick, also. And he was married to one of the Doctor's companions, the real hot blonde who was the first companion of the second Doctor.
Doctor Michael Goff was.
Yeah. And he was married to her, and she has all these horror stories about him. Said he was the biggest asshole in the world. So never meet your heroes, but or villains.
But that's
because the villains may be the villains.
All ex-wives are like that.
Yeah. And you know who else was gay, Kyle, that was on the original Batman series? Not
Me?
you. You're not gay. No. Cesar Romero.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and he enjoyed the role
But
because he got
that
to,
was
he
well
got to
known.
act flamboyant, and it didn't hurt his Latin lover persona.
That one was well known, but the other two weren't really that well known to me.
Right.
Spurt Hammond.
Bert Hammond.
They came out with
player.
some names them days, didn't they? Didn't they
Is
come
that
up with
Bert's
some
brother?
names? Christ almighty.
What comic am I holding up?
Spurt Hammond,
Stand
Planet Flyer of Venus.
Stand there.
Brother of Jizz Hunter.
Jizz Hunter. Hold on, I got to take
Condom Man.
Flash Gordon.
Trojan Man.
Planet Comics.
Huh?
Planet Comics #1.
Interesting.
What? Is
10
that
cents.
one of your... Oh, well, now, hang on a minute. I want to know that. Okay, so Darren has promised to tell us the origin of the these reprints.
We need Kyle, though. Where's he run off to?
Because I've got a bunch of these as well, and I'm fascinated to learn where they've come from.
Well, we need Kyle back.
Get from the same place?
Our story.
One of those companies was based here in San Antonio. Actually,
until he comes back, I can show you a few of them. This is a set of them.
Are those reprints?
Yes.
#2.
I mean, if that wasn't a reprint, it would probably be worth about 120 grand or something.
These are 9.8 originals, Bill.
Wow.
#3.
More importantly, have you worked out how much their value is? Yeah.
What?
What's
why have you suddenly gone all blurred and we're all clear here on this side?
Who's blurred?
You. You drink too much.
Okay. That's probably because my camera's having to work. But checking you. Are you losing me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. You just can't really see the cupboards that clearly.
You've gone a bit more focused.
Yeah, that's oh no, it's not.
You got enough light?
Yeah, I've got enough light. I tell you what, I might have to do. I might have to reboot the computer and rejoin. Maybe it's doing stuff.
Yeah, do that. Because
so I'll do that. There's Kyle. I'll be back in 3 minutes.
Sorry, I had to answer the call of nature. So what
Darren
the hell? What's with the Dobson collection?
Darren said he was going to leave when you came back. So
what's the Dobson collection?
Pissed off at you.
Right, he's going to reveal the source of the Dobson collection reprints. Which I want to
once
know,
he gets his camera.
If I was a gambling man, I'd still say he's going to pull up a book that it's reference material.
It's reference material. Kyle,
it's photo reference. It's photo reference and reference material.
There's too many of them.
Hey, did I show you guys those Marvel posters I got?
No.
Let me go get them.
Mark, did you say you couldn't hear my video at all?
Couldn't. But I'm slightly hard of hearing, so I put it on my phone and I switched the volume up to max. Couldn't hear it.
So probably better on the PC, I expect, anyway. But
it probably is better on the PC.
Yeah.
Just when we thought you had it
I
sorted,
just don't know what's happening. As I say, it seems that every time I turn my computer off, the bloody thing resets. So I've got to, I've got to put it back to the volume again.
Pain. It was something to do with settings. You need, you just have you got a PC?
I keep going into the settings and changing it, and then it's perfectly fine. But I mean, I'm talking to you now, and I'm on that microphone that I did that recording on. You can hear me perfectly fine now, can't you?
It's fine now.
Makes no sense. It's really no sense at all.
The only thing I can think, Terry, is have you got more than one microphone?
Yeah.
Right.
Also, have you got when you make a video? Like to make a recording of video. Maybe it's not. I know, it'd be the same microphone, wouldn't it? Or maybe it's using a default microphone.
No, it might be.
You have a built one as well.
Have you checked the microphone on your video settings?
Yeah,
is it external microphone?
Yeah, I mean, I've got this external thing here that I'm talking to you. I'm doing it through this thing. I mean, does it get any louder if I say this?
Ooh,
is that the Blacklight series?
No. No, this is from Marvel Mania.
What the hell is that cut? That's not just a poster, is it? That's a really shiny thing.
It is a poster.
Looks like it's cloth.
Looks like it's cloth.
It's very nice.
Is that paper?
Paper.
You got enough space on your walls, have you, mate?
And I actually got 2 sets of the next 3 I'm going to show you, but I sold the set of 3 for $250 to the guy who buys stuff from me. But
Wow.
these next 3 are all by Kirby.
Yowza.
Not a bad price, is it? Oh,
What
no.
dates are these?
Don't tell me.
What dates are
Don't
these
tell me
from?
F.A.R.T.s an Elon Musk follower.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, he drives a Tesla.
I do
I
not.
see what his arm's doing though.
I drive a Honda. If I drove a Tesla, I would have traded it in by now.
Surely he drives a Skoda, doesn't he?
You drive a Honda, we drive a Nissan. Us liberals do the Japanese, I guess.
Yep. And these last 2 are my favorites.
One of them's a surfer one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's nice.
So what date did you say these were from?
1970.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, what's that cover famous for? What? I just gave away the answer. That image is on the cover.
I don't know.
It's on FF The Hidden Years. Came out in like 2000.
I don't know.
Where that they used that for the cover for a story that never got published from Lee and Kirby.
Oh. There he is.
Surfer and Galactus. That's great.
And Galactus. They look like they should be black lights, don't they? From the color scheme.
They sure do.
I think that had something to do with the black lights came out like 5 years before.
No, the
and I think
light
they
posters
used
came
some
out
of
after.
They
black
did. I
light
thought they came out.
came out in 71.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think
what
they
do you
used
think of those,
a couple
fellas?
Love them.
Yeah,
they're great,
amazing.
right? I'm gonna get them framed.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
the way to do it.
Unusual.
I think they used the color schemes from the black light ones for those.
No, the black light posters use the black scheme, the schemes from these.
Right.
Just use more fluorescent.
Oh, I thought
colors.
you said that the black lights were 71. That's what I thought they were.
And these are 70.
Oh, I thought you said those were 77.
No.
Okay,
These are
so
70.
it's the other way around. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so the
these were. Do you guys remember Marvel Mania, right?
Yeah.
That's
Does he look better now? Do you think, guys? Is he looking better?
Well, the silly thing is that when he was in the small screen,
still looks pixelated.
Now it's the same. It's blurry. It's weird.
These are really nice. Love these reprints.
If I'm wobbly, then it's something wrong with the computer. I've been on some dodgy website all day, and I bet I've picked up 1,000 viruses.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
It's not good for you, Darren. It's not good for you. Go blind, mate.
Before I forget from
late for
earlier.
that.
Before I forget from earlier, one of the things I wanted to do to honor my mom is when the house sold, I was going to get a comic that I wanted off my list, something kind of big. And when those particular things pop up, you can't wait for them. You literally can't wait for it. I couldn't leave it. I couldn't not get it.
Well, is that the
So I
Charlie
got it
Chaplin
now.
one?
I got it now because I got that Chaplin one now because we did get a tax check back. So I basically borrowed tax money against when the house sells so that I can say my mom bought me that.
That's
you
nice.
know what I mean?
Nice. I like that guy.
So
Great.
that was why I did that. That's why the things
That's
in
a nice
there,
cover.
the things in there that I showed today, which again I didn't pay. It wasn't pittance, honestly, but that to me was a gift from my mom.
Right.
So she would have appreciated that because she told me before she was passed, and she's like, you know, if you get any settlement money, make sure you go out and get yourself a nice comic book or something.
That's nice. Right.
So,
well, nice one.
So are we ready to solve the mystery of the Dobson faction?
I'm waiting. You've had me on tenterhooks for 20
Waiting with bated breath.
I'm just waiting for you to hold up a book I have in mind. So I'm just waiting to see it.
So let's do the story properly. So for the viewers who might be joining us for the first time, about a year and a half ago, I bought a collection of comics. In there was a bunch of like golden age stuff like this, beautifully bagged and boarded, when everything else in the collection was like treated like dog shit, you know? So these ones we've been talking about for a while, about what are they, what's the origin, what's the purpose, why did he have them, did he make them himself, did he buy them, who knows what. And so All I know is I've got about 3 long boxes of this type of stuff, and it's been a mystery for ages. But I'm going to cut over to Mark for Mark to continue with the story to explain what he's been finding out there in the marketplaces.
Yes. So when Darren showed me these, I went, "Oh, hang on a minute! I've got some of these. And I wonder what they are because I do collect the sort of UK reprints, and unbelievably, there was some Marvel Captain Marvel UK reprint facsimiles. And I thought, who the hell's done these? And they're really good quality. They're really high quality. They're better quality than the original stuff. And I sort of said at the time, does anybody know? And I did put it on my video. I said, does anybody know where these reprints have come from? And I found them. So I think it was an auction up in. I think it was an auction. It was definitely up north somewhere. And I think it was from the Peter Rotherham. Is he called Rotherham or Buckingham? Rotherham.
Rotherham. I always want to call him Buckingham, but it is Rotherham.
So there was a W, right?
There was a big dealer up north called Peter Rotherham who died about 2 or 3 years ago. And he had really high grade stuff and a really interesting collection.
Did his name start with a WR?
Sorry?
Was it WR Rotherham?
No,
just R.
Yeah,
okay.
as if
Peter Rotherham.
So both Darren and I had spotted some really good comics at a place that doesn't usually do comics, at an auction house in Warwick. I'd already been there and had one hit at it, and on the second hit, Darren spotted it as well, and we both said we were going to bid on the auction. And that's the one where Darren picked up my comics from Warwick and delivered them to me. And I carried on buying from Warwick, and I kept on buying from this guy's collection because generally they were really high. And so I did buy a whole load of the Peter Rotherham collection, and I did end up with quite a lot of these reprint things.
Is Warwick as short as he seems on TV and movies?
Yeah, so he is quite short, and he did enjoy playing Willow. Where he got the comics from, I don't know. And he lived in Warwick. You know, he's great fun. He's a little guy.
You can set your beer on his head.
Whatever you do, don't introduce me to Kyle because Kyle will use to throw me.
Yeah, dwarf throwing. Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm very interested to find out about these reprints because they are very high quality. But I don't think Dobson did them. But anyway, we're going to find out.
But then, Mark, after that, you sent me a little screenshot one day of something on eBay.
Yes, I did. So I found a guy on was it on eBay? Or no, it wasn't from eBay. It was an auction.
Wasn't it?
No, I don't think it was eBay. It was an auction. Or it might have been.
I think it was eBay.
It might have been eBay. And somebody got these. That's right. It was eBay. And this guy, it was eBay, and he got loads of the things, and he was selling them quite cheap, really quite cheap.
But they were like not just one at a time. They were like chunks
at a time. Yeah,
and they were all Captain Marvel related.
They were, yeah.
Marvel Man or Captain Marvel?
That kind of stuff, Bill. Yeah.
Captain Marvel,
okay.
yeah.
Tons and tons. We're talking 20 auctions with 10 each.
Yeah.
El Miller and stuff, something like that.
Wow.
Well, do you remember the name of the name of the seller on eBay, Mark?
Oh, no, I don't.
Have you never bought from him before?
No.
His name was Sonny Dobbs.
Who is it? Remind me who it is. I can't remember.
Well, then I'll pick up a little bit then. So
I might have bought from before. Was it no, carry on.
So these when I went to have a look at what Mark had sent me on the eBay listing said these are facsimiles produced by a dealer in the northwest of England. And the eBay listing said these are the last of a huge collection that we've been selling over the last year or so. So the last being 200 comics, all Marvel Man and everything. So that was just the last batch, according to the guy's listing. So God knows how many he did have. But the person selling them is, and I'll be quiet once I say the name in case you guys, especially in the UK, have got any experience with him, is called Phil Comics.
Yeah, no, I haven't bought from him before.
I think I've seen that name around.
Phil Comics is an auction house solely done on eBay, and he basically gets other people's comics and he lists them. So he charges a commission to do it, and that's all he does. And he lists them very well, and he's got a very good reputation in English comics especially. But the man's called Phil Shrimpton, and he is probably the number one collector of Beano in the world. Probably.
Wow. Was he related to Gene
he certainly
Shrimpton?
has every single one of them.
Is he Gene Shrimpton's brother? I'm just curious.
Say again, Bill.
Is he Gene Shrimpton's brother?
No.
No, I don't think he is. I'm just wondering if I've got something up here on the top of this.
Bill, you're being very obstructive today.
Thanks.
Ah, yes. Now, so Phil, he's into the Beano and the house that produced Beano. So Beano, Dandy, and all that stuff. And he wrote a book about Beano or Dandy. I think it was Beano and Dandy, called Classic Covers. Now, I came across him when I bought a collection of Beano and Dandy ages ago, and I listed them on my website. Now, before I listed on the website, I was struggling to find out how to value them because they were from the war, like 1942 up, and they're in really nice condition. And in my research, I found some articles about Phil Shrimpton on the internet, and I sent him an email and said, hey, can you help me figure out what I've got? And he did. He was wonderful.
That's nice.
And furthermore, he said, I've got to tell you something in secret. I wrote a book about Beano and Dandy. That's not a secret. It's out there. But the secret is I'm writing a sequel. And he said, you've got the comics that I don't have he had all the Beanos. He said, you've got some Dandies that I need photo scans of for my book. So I did him some. And not long afterward, the book came out and he sent me a copy. And here it is.
Okay.
Wow, that's nice.
Nice. Scans of your comics in it.
What's that? Oh, that's a little note from him. Dear Darren, Beano and Dandy book. Hope you like it and thanks for the Dandy scans.
Yeah.
Is that a recent book?
This is very recent. This is in the last 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
And somewhere in here it says my name, saying thank you on here.
Oh,
sending me the scans.
Liner notes. Gotta love the liner notes.
But the book does exactly what it says on the tin. It does Beano and Dandy colours.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Really cool. So this is a bit of an aside, but basically, Phil Shrimpton was the guy selling these reprint stuff on eBay. And so I said to Mark, I've had some dealings with Phil. I'm going to ask him to give me the inside scoop on these reprints.
Yeah.
So I wrote him an email about a week ago, and he didn't reply, and I thought, he's blown me out. And then about 4 days in, because I knew he'd be putting eBay auctions on every day, so he'd be checking his email every day. So he's blown me out. Anyway, about 4 days later, I got a reply. It was a very brief. Tempest is bought off him. It was a very brief reply. It said, "I'm on holiday in Wales. When I get home, I'll reply to you properly." Brilliant. So anyway. A couple of when was it? I said I know it was today, wasn't it? So it must have been today. I got an email from him, and it told me the name of the person who you remember. These were from a dealer in the northwest of England.
Yeah.
He told me the name, and he said, "But that's all I know. I don't really know anything else about the guy. I don't know if he's still alive or whatever." Well, Darren the detective got on the internet, didn't he? And he found some stuff. So I can tell you now, if you guys want to make your predictions, Kyle, Mark, or whoever, about what you think these books are now you're to make your best guess.
My prediction's been standing from the beginning. You're about to pull out a book where they were photo reference material, and then the interiors were used for reference material.
No, I don't think so. There's too many of them. I
Nah.
think it's Peter Rotherham, and I think he did them for resale purposes in the States.
Now, Gray, are you currently paying for your subscription to Steam Yard? So I'm going to present something. I don't know if it'll allow us to do because we've got 6 windows. So
yeah, as done before.
Present.
Yeah, I think you can present still.
Oh, cool.
It's only kind of
but with 6 windows, it's like the 7th window. That's all I'm thinking.
I think you can.
Yeah, copyright law says he couldn't sell that in the States. That'd be an illegal deal.
But they're illegal anyway. They're still illegal in the UK because you're infringing copyright.
Well, yeah, if you're selling them.
Ah, here we go.
But if you're using them for reference material, you can get around that.
Yeah.
He's presenting.
And again, it fits in the same thing. I told you guys, there's like 20 guys over in UK that are just thick as thieves. You will always see their names intertwined, and Dobson was one of them. You'll always see their names intertwined because there just aren't that many of them. What they are here are like the backroom guys at San Diego Comic-Con, and stuff like that. But when you're in the printing industry and things like that, and Mark, you're familiar with the printing industry, an island that small, you're going to know everybody that's got a decent-sized press in the entire goddamn island.
Sure.
And even back in the 70s, it's like, there's only a handful of you. You're going to run into each other at these big cons if you're comic fans and things like that. You're going to interact. And, I mean, my buddy David Price up in Liverpool, who edited and produced Fanzine, he's done interviews with, like, basically all those guys. I'm pretty sure that's where I first heard Dobson's name, was off my old editor.
Here we go. This is the answer. A guy in the UK called Brian Whitworth, who was a comic dealer, created facsimiles of bazillions of books to sell. And this that you see on screen is his selling catalogue.
Why would you spend that much on printing to sell those?
Oh, there you go.
Because
Right, facsimiles.
That's his Brian Whitworth.
Why would you spend that kind of money on a facsimile?
There's a Wiz Comics. Look, and then look. Can you read the Captain Midnight, Captain Marvel, Mary Marvel?
And how much was he selling these for?
Is this moving on your screen?
Yeah. How much was he selling these for? Was it £2.50?
I think these were £5 each. I think in the 1990s. Look there, normal 50 issues, £3.50 each. So the 1990s is 30 years ago. So
you think these were produced in the 90s?
This is the 1990s that he was doing this.
Yeah, they basically, when in the mid 90s, all that stuff went online. All the covers went online. All the interior stories went online, and they pulled Library of Congress
stuff.
It would cost
him more to print it up than he would sell what he was selling.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was not a money making process. If those are high quality,
he's clearly doing it as a money making process. This is a commercial enterprise.
Yes, he must have had access to like
100%. This is for profit,
mustn't he?
Yeah, if he's selling them for $3.50, he's selling them for $3.50. It's cost him less than $3.50 to make it.
Yeah, so he must have had access.
Some of them are $3.50. Some of them are more.
Some of them are less. Those are $3.50.
There was a $2.50 there, yeah. But this is in the 90s. That's a tenner today.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Now, the way he did it, and I'll take you to the bottom page. It's great that I found someone with the photos of his catalogue online. That's Classics Illustrated we've just gone past.
Mm-hmm.
Super Detective Libraries, those are those commando size books. There's
Wow,
classic.
it-
They're more.
I mean, why would
stuff.
you produce a facsimile of the Commando type
Look,
books?
£5 each.
Well, you can buy the
£5
original,
each.
you can buy the
Commando
original
book
for less than
facsimile.
that. Why would you do that? You can buy the original for less than that.
Classics Illustrated, £5 each.
Because he dumb.
I think he is dumb.
Just
I mean,
getting
even
to the
if you
last
had a
page to
printing
show you
press, yeah,
something.
this makes no sense.
Nah.
Unless
Look
they
at the
were
bottom what it
particularly
said.
old. They weren't particularly old.
Can't
rare
read
issues,
that.
were they?
You'd have to enlarge that.
I'll
to
read
be
it
able to
for
see
you. I'll read it for you.
All
All our facsimiles are produced to order, so please allow a few days for delivery. All facsimiles are mint condition. From there at 150, look.
So he's printing to order. This is very early days of print to order. Wow. So he's not holding stock of these. He's only producing them if he's got a sale.
So I just looked it up. In 1990, a tenner will be now 30 quid.
Yeah. So he's about right. So
£3 as much, yeah.
Right. So that I understand the business model now. He's not holding any stock. He's purely printing it when he gets the order.
Yeah.
So he's making one. He's doing one of ones. He's doing one. He's printing one. So he's got a method of printing these that's costing him less than doing one copy. I mean, he's not making a lot on it. I mean, it's still
and he's risking. I mean, I don't know the British laws, but in America, they would have come down on him with a sledgehammer.
Well, he's got away with it. I'm not aware he's ever been.
This is 100% illegal. There's no doubt it's illegal.
Is he still alive?
That's why I said.
I don't know. I wasn't able to find that out.
Well, what my question then is, given the quantity of these that Phil has got, given that he only made them to order, where have they come from?
It seems kind of obvious.
I'll tell you a little bit more that I've seen, a little bit more that I found out. A couple of there's on the CGC forums board, there's some people who say, "Oh, I bought a load of these off him back in the day, and I know that he had to get copies of the comic from a bloke called Dennis Gifford, who has written books about comics."
Of course.
Have you heard of Dennis Gifford?
Yeah, Dennis Gifford. I know him well.
So
he's
basically,
the British Bill Field.
He borrowed some of Dennis Gifford's books to copy.
Yeah.
Now, the way I would do it if I was him, I would wait for someone to make an order, and when that order came in, I would get 3 or 4 copies printed and sell the one in the order, and then I've got 3 more in stock.
Yeah, and hope somebody else buys them.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to get that one reprinted again.
This is a trust fund kid who had access to a printing press. That's all that can be, because those are too high
his
quality.
Business. Printing might have been his business. Don't have to be a trust fund kid. He might have been a printer. Have you looked into the fella, find out if he didn't have a printing?
To put together a comic book back then.
Reprinting those Commando magazines is bonkers. In 1990,
is bonkers, absolutely bonkers.
In 1990, those would have cost you about £1 for the original.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but
look at them all on that page. Look, Captain Marvel, Marvel Man, Marvel Family, Marvel Junior.
And what amazes me, he's actually reprinting the Len Miller reprints.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, but even more than that, one of the people on the CGC forums said, this is his catalogue, but he did other catalogues with extra items in, and this is the coolest sentence, which means that his offering was constantly moving, which makes it a nightmare to collect Whitworth facsimiles. So someone was collecting them.
Jesus.
Well, why not? I bet you they're not being made anymore, and some of them will be one of ones.
Right.
But those went through a print shop. That wasn't print at home. Hell, I was printing stuff at home in the 90s and early 2000s.
No. The quality is far too good.
The quality, the quality of that, somebody's dad owned a print shop or something. That I'm sorry, but that Wentworth kid is probably a second generation.
I mean, the quality of the paper, Kyle, is much, much better than the original paper.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm wondering if here's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if he had the printer's proofs or the metal sheets
I don't know. No way did he have the original printed plates.
No, he didn't, Bill, because it's again on the CGC board said this guy had like was copying the comic because if it wasn't written on the comic, the writing's on the comic.
So if there was a fault, one of the things about this is if there was a fault on the comic that he was reproducing, he reproduces the fault. Okay, this is what Phil said on his blurb. He said, these are photogravure. So if there's a fault on the original, it comes up on the facsimile.
Yeah.
No, there's the plates back then.
This is not plates.
Yeah, that's not plates. The plates you're talking about that were metal, they stopped using those in the 50s. That's offset print. That's offset printing. And he had access to an offset printer, which is not cheap.
No, not.
And a collating machine, which is not cheap. But again, it could be done, but there's no damn way that would have made.
But how would you do a one-off for £5, Kyle?
It'd be stupid. It'd just be stupid. That's what I said. And if you use it as photo reference material, and you can get around the law by renting out.
I think we're missing something important here. I think we're missing a process that we're not unfamiliar with.
I think you're right.
Was cheap and quick. And because there's no way he could have even afforded to do just a one-off. I mean, this is way before print on demand, of course, but we're missing some valuable information here.
If you've got access to one of them things, which any decent print shop does, if you got access to it, you could do it, but you're not going to have that free reign unless you own the goddamn shop. Nobody in the shop could just go print those.
It's like an early color photocopier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just huge. They're enormous. Offset presses are huge.
Yeah.
You burn photo negatives. There's a whole process to it. But to go through that process with each and every one of those is so goddamn costly. It makes no sense unless you were like renting out his reference material. That's somebody that had money that got a bug up their ass and had access to the printing process.
Yeah, like they said, I mean, that £3.50 back in 1990 is £30. So, I mean, he was getting...
but he was so Terry,
But no,
I mean, he must have been, mate, otherwise he wouldn't have... Why would you do that? Unless you've got tons of money and you're doing it as a hobby and you couldn't really give a fuck.
I don't know. That was like a commercial enterprise to me. That wasn't...
Yeah.
That was.
So he must have
that's a professional job. And like me on the job, like in the 90s, I'd have made $25 to $30 an hour. And to process it, just to process a 16-pager would take me half a day.
Right, and collate it and staple it and put it all together.
Well, the machines could collate and staple, but the person doing it,
for one,
it cost me $250. It cost you $250 to hire me for a full day's work.
Yeah.
One person. And that's maybe once I got the presses running, I could maybe do 30 books. You do the math, it doesn't make any damn sense.
No.
Unless somebody had ready access to it.
But I think that's why there's some excess. So let's say I go and order Captain Marvel 23, right? So he goes, Captain Marvel 23, I've got to make one of these because somebody's ordered one. I might as well make 20.
Yeah. Well, the simple thing is you crack a box. Say you got 500 pages in this double sheet. It's a double sheet, so you can print both sides. and top and bottom.
Yeah.
So you got 500. So if you got 4, you got a 20-page book. That's 5 sheets per. So each 500 ream, you break it down, you can make 100 comics out of a 500 sheet ream, or approximately. So you're looking at a 500 sheet ream, which would have been 35, 40, 50 bucks back then.
It doesn't make any financial
the
sense.
labor,
Why
the
would
numbers just don't make sense unless you own the goddamn thing.
Let me give you my 2 pennies worth.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, when I was doing my fanzine, I had a mate who worked in reprographics in a college, and my fanzine's got about 60 pages, 70 pages, I don't know, quite a lot of pages in it. And it wasn't colour, but it still worked out. I was able to get like a 500 printed up, and I was able to sell them at £3 each, and that was making like £1 something profit. So I don't think the prices of that.
But he wouldn't have charged. He'd probably charged you the same amount for one.
What was it? What was it called? Gray areas.
Well, it's not the printing that's the costly part. It's getting to the printing.
Yeah.
Once you push the button, it's easy.
What was the name of your
you're in a reprographics place, and you just photocopy, like colour photocopies.
Yeah. Well, and then
what was the name of your zine, Gray?
Oh, something like it's quite a good name. It's something like prevented abortion or something.
Right after birth.
After birth.
Prevented afterbirth.
Right after birth. Sorry.
Prevented afterbirth.
Kentucky Fried Afterbirth.
Oh, that's really that's graphic.
So anyway, guys, the CGC forums, the people on there say that this guy would produce 3 to 5 copies whenever he did any.
Yeah.
So between 3 and 5.
That's
so
okay.
There's not a huge excess, but he when he went to print, he did a couple more.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, this guy is Phil Comics referred to him as a comic dealer from the Northwest.
Yeah.
So well, and he's somebody that had access to the equipment.
Is he still dealing?
I don't know. I've not been able to find anything, which could suggest that he died some time ago.
Yeah.
Aww.
What I did find out is that at some point he emigrated to France and sold this business to someone else. It didn't work out in France, and he came back again, and the trail goes dead. And I've not tried to research the people who supposedly bought it off him, but I've not heard of anything about these comics ever since. So I'm assuming that came to nothing anyway.
So would you say when he came back, he was French fried?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could, if I had access to that equipment, like if I actually owned my own shop and did that, you couldn't force me to do that job. You couldn't force me to repro comics illegally and try and push them and sell them. The risk for the minimal money, that's asinine. That's a rich kid that didn't give a shit. That is exactly who that is. That's a rich kid that didn't give a shit.
Okay. Was it called Nostalgia Comics?
No, hold on a minute. Let me. There was a nostalgia word in there, wasn't there? It wasn't called Nostalgia and Comics, no.
And he's like second generation because he's not. I don't know if he's old enough.
What was the front of that brochure? There was a name on it. The front page.
Yeah.
Of the
Nostalgic
I don't think he's
Comic Creations.
I think he's the one who did the reprints of that Kirby Wood astronaut comic that was big in the UK in the late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
I'd imagine his dad owned a part of a print shop or something. That's the only way you do it. You're just throwing away fucking money if you're not. If you're not the one getting the ink on your fingers, you're just throwing away money.
They don't tend to take a lot of notice of comic. They're not really bothered. They're really interested. So that's
what I'm saying. It's just
that's why he never got caught.
It's like a second generation rich kid. Because in the 90s, he wasn't reading books in the 40s. Because that would have predated him by 50 years, which would have made him in his 70s. There's no fucking way. It was something his dad did. His dad had money, or his grandpa, and it was the love of that was passed on. But he had money and access to a quality print shop.
I don't. I would. Okay, this is complete speculation, as is yours, Carl, because we don't know the facts. But my speculation would be, he was a guy who saw that these comics were, in demand by various collectors, not readily available, and so he decided just to offer them and try to make some money out of it.
Well,
I don't
that's
think
what I'm
he was
saying.
rich.
I mean,
I think he was trying to
my
make money.
knowledge has nothing to do with him. My knowledge is of the cost of the printing process and what you go through and dealing with it. But Mark knows what I'm talking about. If you have ready access to it, you get it cheaper, but no boss in a shop is going to let you do that. The only person that's going to let you do that is the owner of the damn shop. You have to own it to pull off shit like
Was
that.
the guy called Brian Whitworth?
Yes, if Gray comes back, he can put the thing back on a
yeah.
Anyone's going to give a shit. I don't think you need to own the shop because people don't give a toss in those kind of shops. You just go in there and say you want copied, and they copy it for you, or you copy it yourself.
Is that Billy Batson? It is.
Now, modern day, it's a little different because they can do it with straight up JPEGs and stuff like that. But we're talking 90s. There were no the JPEG back in the 90s wasn't worth the dot matrix on that shit was awful. The quality of printing on that is photos that were printed on an offset sheet reverse.
Oh.
There's money in that.
Hey guys, I'm going to have to sign off. I have some family things to deal with.
Okay.
We'll see y'all next week. Bye guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. Well done, Darren. Glad you got to the bottom of that.
30 years ago, even 30 years ago, the print world was a different world than it is now.
Oh, it changes a lot. Yeah. Byron Whitworth.
But the amount of money and time.
Brian. Not Byron, but Brian.
You're saying it's 1990 or later in the 90s? What date was it?
All I got was 90s.
90s, 2000.
Late 90s, you just go to a reprographic place and
he's written a book.
Print out what you want to print, you just copy it.
He wrote a book.
Oh, yes, he did write a book. Yes, there are books. It's more than one book, actually.
Yeah.
And in actual fact, that book, one of them's called something like Collecting British Comics. It wouldn't, I haven't looked because I only found out this morning and I don't know which box it might be in. It would not surprise me whatsoever if that book is not sitting in Frank Dobson's collection downstairs, because there were multiple boxes full with comics about books about collecting comics. I bet you that book
he wrote a book called Collecting British Comics by Brian Whitworth.
Yeah.
That's it. You got him, Mark.
Here's another one that'll bend your brain a little bit. You know that computer printing ink in the late 90s was more expensive per pound than gold.
I think toner still is.
To print like a 22-page comic, you might get 3 printings off of it, off of a $50 thing of ink. So you get 3 comic books for $50, and that's just ink. So you have to be pulling it off a machine. And then if your buddy was doing the stuff at the university was putting the bill unknowingly, but that's a good way to get around it. But yeah, there was no cheap way to print back then. It was either horrible or great, and the great stuff took a real
cheap way of doing it now.
When I left the university, when I left university, I went to work in an accountant's office. I was about 22 years old. This would have been 1992. And the accountant's office would print using laserjet printers, beautiful bound volumes of accounts for their clients. I don't know how much they cost, but I used to think they were very impressive.
Yeah, I think that sort of technology came in around that time, and that's what I think this guy was using.
Yeah, laserjet printers and Word files.
He was using something like that. This is the end of the. So, Grand Comics Database has him, publisher of facsimile editions of many UK series, translated European Classics Illustrated and the Illustrated Comics Journal, and you got him around the year 2000.
Do they mention it's illegal?
There is no doubt whatsoever what he was doing was completely illegal. There's no doubt in that
What
whatsoever.
I'm saying is, do they mention it in all of that?
But I tell you what,
they just ignore it because they don't give a stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point, Terry, is that, you know what? So many people do things that are illegal and totally get away with it.
Yeah.
That's another thing I can't wrap my head around. Who would be that stupid?
Back then, cops were actually chasing robbers instead of going around trying to do bloody copyright shit with someone doing something in a laserjet printer in his garage or whatever he was doing. I don't know.
And Darren, like the stories you told before, when I say who would be that stupid, and you told the stories where you worked with these families who one generation, they were just peaches to work with. And then the second generation are just fucking idiots with their parents' money that just ruin shit like that and break the law and do dumb shit. And like, well, I have access to this and fuck it, I'm going to do it.
Well,
and
look,
besmirch the whole name of the family
it
and everything.
might be the case, Carl, but we simply don't know. So it is speculation.
Yeah.
And I personally think he was a comic dealer trying to deal comics.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't get it.
I don't think it's a rich. If I was a rich kid, I'd be off screwing women and going scuba diving and playing in casinos. I wouldn't be printing fucking comics.
You couldn't imagine that the British comic companies would have chased him up because he wasn't taking any money off their plates because they'd already sold all the copies that they printed up. So why would they chase him up over copyright some old comic books? And that's for all the American ones.
No, he's small fry.
Copyrights on those.
Well, and again, think of the thought process with somebody like that. They already got the money. They're using somebody's shop. They're using
How do you know they've already got the money?
It's
How do
not
you know
costing him a penny out of pocket. So instead of thinking I have to pay $4 for this and then I get to keep a quid, if he's printing it out of his own shop, he's like, fuck it. It's all $5 going in my pocket and I'm making money. And his thought process is wacko. That's just wacko.
You know, let me tell you, what can I think of that illustrates stuff? You know, I had a friend who I used to drink with in the pub, and he had a printing company. And when I opened a previous comic shop for real, I went down to that, and I had no money. I had no money. I wasn't a rich kid doing stupid things. To advertise my shop, I went to my pal and said, do you do like plastic transfers for sides of vans and stuff? He said, well, we can do. So I got him to do a Batman symbol the whole size of my bonnet and got him to stick it on the car, and Superman symbols to stick it in the windows and stuff to make, and then like it was called Comic Culture. So Comic Culture and the name and address all over the car. So my car became a walking advert. It was a 300 quid or something. That you just did stuff like that, you know. That's how you thought. You didn't need to be a millionaire to do anything like that. You just did it. And I think that applies to this guy. I think he saw a chance to make money doing this. He costed it up by talking probably to a printing friend. He said, if I want to do 2,000 books a year with you, how much will you charge me? Oh, I want £2 a book. He said, right, I can sell them for £3 then and make £1. So he did it.
Yeah, that's insanity, though.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't for 50p a book. I wouldn't risk jail time.
But Carl, I'm doing stuff for 10p a book. I bag stuff, board stuff, grade stuff, photo upload for 10p profit per book. On on 10% of the books I do, I make 10p, 15 cents maximum profit.
Yeah.
You know, this is entrepreneurial. This people, you pick a model that works for you and you run with it.
Again, if the printing was shittier, I get it. But you said I haven't held one in hand, but I've seen.
No, they're really nice, Kyle. They're
high
really
quality
printing. The paper quality is excellent. The print quality.
Yeah, that's like Baxter paper and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's good quality paper, but that was his whole point. Is that he said, right, no one else is doing this. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make a fucking good job of doing it, so that when people want one of these books, they come to me and nobody else. And it worked. There are collectors out there on CGC forums saying, I bought shit from him. Right, Mark, You've seen them at auction through Phil Comics.
Yeah.
They didn't come from this guy's overstock.
No, they weren't.
Darren, I'm going to have to go.
We found them in Dobson's.
Adam's got herself in a bit of a pickle, so I'm going to have to sort her out.
Okay.
All right, mate. Okay, Terry.
Take care.
So I think these things sold. That we have the evidence that they sold because we're seeing them all the time popping up.
You do find them. I found them in
Peter
Rotherham. So he obviously had some.
Yeah.
And when I called Malcolm as well at Compal, he immediately knew what they were. Although he did give much slightly misleading. He sort of agreed with yes, they're research copies, but they're not.
They're not. No,
they're not
commercial copies.
I mean, I can't believe that Malcolm didn't know. He must have known. Malcolm's the expert on this kind of stuff.
It's probably not his stuff. He probably wouldn't want to sell. He's got one coming up at the moment, Malcolm. It's not as good as he hasn't got any more bound issues, unfortunately. So I think he's sold his Dobson stuff. I don't think he's got any more Dobson stuff. Looking at his latest, because I was looking specifically for Dobson type stuff, I don't think he's got any more. I think he's sold his Dobson stuff. So, which is a shame.
This is crazy. I ain't been this cleaned up in a while. That fucking stabbed in the face card's just jumping out right now, isn't it?
No.
It just seems so obvious to me right here.
That's because
normally
your
it
own
just kind
face
of blends
file.
in my face, but
no.
It's like an age line.
That's a scar.
Oh, it looks like a wrinkle.
Yeah, that's not a wrinkle.
You've got one on the other side of your face, and it looks like it's the same.
It's up here. That's up here, and that's up here. This is down here.
Yeah, I can see it.
Like they're part of the same thing.
See what I'm saying? That's
like a slightly different angle.
Yeah,
and
it is.
That's down here. And I just never saw that. But yeah, that's 9 stitches in my face where they sewed that back together where I get stabbed through my face. But it stands out. Yeah, that's not a wrinkle. That's a scar.
So anyway, after a long and arduous journey, we finally know the answer.
We do.
And the
guy is
disappointing,
a
slightly
fucking
disappointing
idiot.
for me
Oh
is,
my god. Well, those are cool, but I have zero interest in them now.
Yeah,
if they were photo reference material, I think that would have been great. I
No,
think
it's
come
not.
up with a book and said, "Here's the cover of the book. Here's the shop where he said, hey, you can come sit down and reference these and write your stories." Because
I still think they're quite interesting.
I think
some value, and I think some of them will be very low print runs. So I think that guy who was Phil, who was selling a load of them really cheap. Probably if I'd spotted those earlier, I'd probably buy them still.
I kind of, if I knew what I knew today, I'd probably have had a go myself at the prices they were going at.
So, Darren, you've got 3 long boxes of these.
At least 3.
So what are you going to sell them for?
Well, this is what I was just about to say. Is £500 each. 50p. Right, so right, here's I don't know is the answer ultimately, but thinking out loud, one of the things it said on that comics database that you looked at is in part of the write-up, it said like really low print runs, like we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It says something along the lines of that sentence on there. And that's true.
Yeah.
The other bit of information that's interesting is once I knew that it was Whitworth, do you know there's someone selling a Whitworth on eBay right now, a single issue in the States for $120? Right? So
there's a sucker born every minute.
There's a sucker born every minute, of course there is. So also the other thing that was of interest to me, great interest, is that someone on the CGC boards has referenced saying the fact that he did multiple catalogs and the content changed makes it really difficult to collect Whitworths. Like, so the fact that someone is attempting to collect Whitworths,
well, it's impossible,
blows my mind away. I mean, you couldn't possibly collect all them commando types.
Some of those will never have been produced.
Yeah,
you'll never have done most of those.
Hey,
but he was actually after the Marvel Man ones, and he said the last issue that he produced is 370 of Marvel Man, and I think that was probably what he was focusing on.
Right.
However, the point is, so there's so many different angles, and then the last angle is where we started a long time ago. Of the actual comics are rare as rocking or shit, and they're even rarer in any kind of condition that's good. Like they're certainly, and they're very, very highly priced. So if you want something in your hand that is to fill a gap in a whatever run or whatever, there is a value to them. So I actually would levitate back to somewhere around what Gray said, but probably a bit more. I think that probably, because they are good quality, you've seen them. I reckon I'll probably put them on my website at £10 each. And I might increase the keys or the number ones, even though they're not keys or anything like that. I don't want someone buying the number one and leaving me with the rest. Or because they actually usually run in quite long runs and there's very few gaps in the runs, I might put them in runs and say like 400 quid for the 40 comics of that or whatever. And you know what? You know that over time, Mark, I've got so many different categories of stuff that will be added to the shop. I think that over a course of 3, 4, 5 years, Splat Comics will change a little bit its public reputation from being the Marvel and DC that sometimes does sales to a great seller. Like, you've heard of 30th Century Comics, yeah? They do a bit of everything. They do everything.
I bought all my Alan Class plates from them.
So I want to be the if you want a comic and you want to go to, or you just want to go somewhere to just look at some comics, because I've got photos of everything, come and land at Splat Comics and see what takes your fancy. Yeah. And over time, over a course of a few years, I hope that someone is tempted by them. And even if they're not tempted at the price I've got them, they can always email me and make me an offer.
Yeah.
Or if 3, 4 years down the line I do one of my mad sales again, that £10 an issue will eventually drop to £4 an issue.
So I've got a suggestion for you. So
all it is.
So I would like to do a Byron Whitworth video with you for YouTube, you and me. Okay.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
And I think when you do your website, I would just have a category of Byron Whitworth.
And that's exactly what I was going to do. Put Whitworth facsimiles.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I think there's, they're not being reproduced anymore. What's left is what's left. Yeah. And, I would not be selling them for 50p. I'd be doing exactly what you're doing. And I think over a period of time, if you can get it understood what they are and how rare they are, I think the prices could go up. So I think we need to do a bit of publicity about this, because I don't think people really know about it. Absolutely. It's taken us ages to find out, hasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, you know what you did when you did your little video on your bound volumes?
Yeah.
This is if I want to sell them, that's the perfect thing to do a video like that and showcase them. Just show them in runs or show them all together and say, if you want to buy these, get in touch.
Yeah. Okay. So let's schedule a time to do a video next week or later.
What you mean? You mean you're coming here?
No. We'll do it.
We can do it remotely.
Remotely. Yeah.
So, Mark, you've held them in hand. Those are at least offset press books, right?
No, I think they're a form of early laser print color photocopier.
You on it? Man.
Not only that, right, Kyle? Not only that.
It's the only way it works, Kyle. It never works. It's not going to work on a huge industrial press machine.
Some of them are stable.
It's only going to work on a small individual. Gray agrees with me. So I think what's happened. This was technological leading edge. He knows somebody who's got, the first ever color photocopier, or the first ever, color laser.
Well, the dot matrices on those were fucking terrible.
This is dot matrix was 1970, Kyle, not 1990s.
Exactly. Late 90s. The Reaper Graphics Bloody Centre in the college I went to get mine printed. That was amazing.
When was the first follow?
Stuff. Your scanners in them days, you could scan shit. So there's been technology is not as old as as you're thinking. I don't think. If it had been the 80s, fair enough. It would have been a lot difficult. But in the 90s, they started getting all that equipment. You know,
at-home equipment, but it would be so costly because the cartridges on them things were a fortune.
Maybe so.
When do you think
color cartridges were insanely expensive?
When did color photocopying start, Carl?
Who knows when it started? I'm saying in like the 90s and the early 2000s, at-home stuff was costly as fuck.
No. So the color photocopying started in 1973. By the time you got to the mid to late 90s.
No, maybe I won't.
That's what I'm saying. The at-home stuff, the ink was so fucking expensive.
I agree. It was expensive.
It was as costly as gold by the pound. Now, granted, I mean, like a pound would have to be 3 cartridges or something.
Oh, it's a ball. Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I want to show Kyle something. Look, Kyle, this is a run of World's Finest Comics, right? Square bound.
So that takes glue. That's the at-home stuff. That would have cost so much money. It's disgusting.
Well, it must have cost less than £3.50 per item.
Well,
otherwise he wouldn't have done them.
I mean, I have to say, I do understand what Carl's saying.
Yeah,
but, you know, even if I do understand what Carl's saying, you know, color photocopying. Look at the amount of ink you're going to use on all that.
The amount of ink is the numbers are stupid.
Maybe he worked, right? Maybe he worked in reprographics and he printed out whatever he liked for himself. And that may have cost like £10 each to produce. He didn't really mention it on, you know, he wasn't being properly like over.
I mean, look at that. The quality of that is so much higher than the original. Yeah. It's just, you know, that paper quality is really good as well. It's not low. It's not cheap paper.
That's what that has to be offset. That's not an at-home process.
The thickness of this is thicker than the thickness of a Marvel or DC cover.
Oh yes, definitely.
The thickness of the inside paper is either 1 micron less or the same as the cover.
Yeah.
You know, look, when there's another thing that people sometimes do when they're trying to run a business, they try to be the best or get known for something so that people come to them by first choice.
I'm sitting here thinking a used printer in 2001, I paid $700 for a used color printer. Used.
There is a chance that he did this as a labor of love or an advertising something with break-even mathematics behind it so that he could sell whatever other comics he had that were Marvel and DC and Golden Age.
Well, I'm just saying with an offset press, with an offset press and actual ink, you would be spending a tenth of the amount that it would cost to print those at home. An offset would be a tenth of the price of at-home printing.
Yeah, but only if you produced 1,000 copies, Kyle. Not if you produce 5. If you produce 5, the cost will be 10 times higher because you've got all the setup. You've got to pay the guy pay the operator for a day and all the rest of the stuff.
You still have to have the stuff. You still have to buy the cartridges. You still have to buy the equipment. That's what I'm saying. It's just not adding up that it's not offset. So somebody had their hands on some pricey equipment because it was not cheap.
He was I don't know what the facts are, Carl. Right? We know his name.
That's all I'm saying. I don't know nothing about him. I'm talking about how it wasn't cheap.
Right, but what I'm saying is this, right? I'm saying this. We know his name. We know a book he's written. We've got a catalogue.
Yeah.
We've only just scratched the surface of the research we could be doing about him.
If you take one of those,
I'm so not talking about him.
No, but what I'm saying is we can with the research we might be able to get a lead that will lead us to some more information about the mathematics of this.
Yeah, right.
To see whether it could have been a profitable venture.
Darren, I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to take one of those comics and take it to a printer and say to the printer, how the hell was this done? And they'll be able to tell. right?
Yeah.
So if it's done with plates, you can see the plate pressure and all that type of stuff. It's not done with plates.
This is not plates.
And you can look at it and you can see photogravure.
You can see on a Marvel and DC the plate imprint.
Yeah, so by looking at it, and a printer will tell you how that has been printed.
Yeah.
Well, going back to my fanzine, before I got the bloke in Graphics to do it, I had a mate in a band who actually worked in printing, and he'd print me out like 300 and not charge me a penny. Basically, he did it off the bloody well at the time without his firm knowing about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
they don't realise.
That's risky.
So maybe this guy had a similar thing going on.
That's risking your job for something trivial. I wouldn't. I don't
think this guy was doing it. I don't think he was working at a printing company and dealing comics on the side.
No,
he was 100% a comic dealer. That's what I think.
He was.
He might have had someone that he knew that worked in it, or someone he'd give a backhand or two to get it cheap.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is the person that he knew had to have been at least an owner or upper management, because you don't let that kind of money walk out the door unnoticed for an extended period of time.
Yeah, so they do one or two comics here and there. It's not a huge amount of money, and they're gonna think that's an offcut or a bloody well.
You don't just get by pieces of paper though. You have to buy paper in 500 reams. You have to buy a box of paper.
He's not using 500 reams for one comic, is he? He'll use something out of one of the reams that's already on the machine if it is done by printing. But I reckon it's Graphics. I reckon it's.
Well, that's what I'm saying. People track that. I mean, anybody pinching pennies tracks it. But a lot of
people, not in them days.
I would notice 300 pages missing, just like that. If I ran a print shop, I would notice 300 pages missing, and I'd have somebody's ass. Wouldn't you, Mark?
Okay.
Yeah.
If you would have somebody's ass for 10 pages, I wouldn't care. For 20 pages, I wouldn't care. You get into a box.
You don't go around counting the pages of paper around every day, though, do you? You don't go and count every morning and see how many pieces of paper are fucking still there when you got fucking millions of sheets of paper or whatever.
Mark will appreciate this. Mark will appreciate this, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. You do an invoice at the beginning of the week. I bought 1,000 pieces of paper. My jobs have me printing 900 pieces of paper, so I should have 100 left over by the end of the week.
You're going to have waste.
That's what I'm saying is you may have so much, but you would notice. The larger the number, the more you would notice. It would stand out.
Let me give you this a scale. Okay, I used to work back in the paper industry. Worked at a paper mill called Dartford Paper Mill. Have you heard the phrase dark satanic mills? Okay, this place was a dark satanic mill. Okay, it was ruled over by a guy who got to his position as factory manager because he's lost the most fingers, right?
Jesus.
He was an absolute ogre, right? So I was sitting by the paper machine. I was doing a night shift. I was sitting by the paper machine at the wet end of the paper machine, and with the wet end operator. And these machines make a lot of noise, right? So this factory manager comes down. He was called Mr. Ingram. He comes down. I was about 20 or something. And the wet end operator says, "Excuse me, Mr. Ingram." He says, "Yes, what do you want?" He said, "When are you going to do something about the noise? Because this is very noisy here. And I'm worried it's affecting my hearing." So Ingram went over to the telephone by the wall, which had a booth thing over the top of it. He pulled it off the wall and he put it on the man's head and he walked off down. The other one, these are true stories.
You could do that sort of thing then.
This is true stories, right? The next one, with the mill had a social club, right, which had an annual fair. So there was an annual fair being held in the field next to the mill. And I went to it, and I was walking back from it, and in front of me there was a mum with a daughter that's about 6 or 7, and they'd won a goldfish, right? They'd won a goldfish, throw a ball in a bowl and win a goldfish. So she was walking through the factory yard, and Ingram was coming the other way. So Ingram sort of stops this woman and says, "What have you got there?" And the little girl goes, "I've got a goldfish, Mr. Ingram." And he said, "Well, look after it. That's the only gold you'll ever get from this company. Anyway, while this guy,
shop stewards are ogres.
He sounds like a Monty Python character.
Oh, he was a great. I mean, it was just horrendous. The quality manager had 3 nervous breakdowns. Anyway, so while I was there, the accountant was going, I don't know what's going on. We've got a high load of, because paper machines, if they get a break on the paper machine, you get loads of broke and waste and so on. Right. So, and he said, I just don't know what's going on. Anyway, after a couple of years after I was there, they sent in some senior accountants to check and what was going on. The night shift, so it was regular night shift. So you're either on the morning shift, the afternoon shift, or the night shift. The night shift, and they were connected through Ingram, right? They were selling tons and tons of paper on the black market. So they'd run the night shift, and 4 or 5 whole big 5-ton reels of paper would be going out on the black market. And Ingram had his whole house built by the guys that worked in the factory.
And so if it took them a while to notice them missing, they're going to take it forever to notice a couple of comic books missing.
That's my point. You know, he was stealing 20 tons of paper a week, and nobody picked it up for about 5 years.
Blimey, that's a lot of paper.
Ultimately, right, whatever things we can think up is irrelevant, because the fact of the matter is that guy had a catalogue selling these things at those prices, and we've seen them. We've got them in our hands. We know it's a true story. Whatever justification that guy had for doing it, he did it. And we've cracked the case.
If I'm going to break the law, it's going to be for something a hell of a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, but you're only guessing, Kyle. You're only guessing.
But
we don't know.
It's not like Darren. Yeah, those world's finest are magnificent, right? They are far better than the originals, and there are very few of them. If there are 100 of each of those, I'll be buggered.
I'd be amazed if there's 5 of them ever been produced. I'd be amazed if there's 5 of each.
You're right. I think there's probably 5 to 10 of them at the most.
No, I'd say 3 to 5.
3 to 5. Okay.
More likely to be less than more.
So
give me a Rembrandt, not a lithograph of Rembrandt. You know.
Yeah, but how much of a Rembrandt is a world's fight? It's not a Rembrandt, is it? Because a Rembrandt was only one of one.
Wow.
Original world's finest number 170.
Well, now by Rembrandt, I mean an impression.
50,000 of them.
Like a wood, not a painting, a wood cutting impression. They'd have like 6 impressions per wood cut, and they do like 100 per series. So give me an original Rembrandt wood cutting impression over a lithograph of a Rembrandt wood cutting impression.
Well, I mean, I have to say, you know, if you show us one of those world's finest.
Just a second, I'll put it over there.
Good reading material, but again, I wouldn't break the law for it.
No, but somebody has, so you don't have to break the law for it.
The fine
on that.
Right.
The fine on that would be bigger.
Okay. I don't think anyone's chasing people for 2 or 3 copies of something. Seriously,
So,
unless they're doing a big.
Would I write? You know, so I can have the original, which is I'm never going to get it in that grade, and because it'll just be that it probably doesn't even exist in that grade.
Wow. And then another kick in the pants is I'm not just talking about copyright fraud from Warner Brothers or DC. You put the fucking thing in the mail, that's mail fraud. You're just stacking up laws breaking.
Not in the UK, it isn't. I've never heard of mail fraud.
No, there isn't a mail fraud in the UK.
Yeah,
so
you ship that to the United States, that's mail fraud.
If I bought that from Darren, yeah, and I sent it to CGC, and they graded it, right? They'd be very confused because I'm not. Are there any graded Whitworths?
I don't think they'd grade it. It's not. I don't think they can legally grade it because it's copyrighted material.
Well, there's a chance. It's got a record on Comic
copyrighted
Database.
material.
It's on the Grand Comics database.
If a record exists on there, it gives it some, not legitimacy, but something like that. But
They grade facsimiles.
Probably licensed facsimiles, but
yeah, that's the whole thing. I don't think they could. I don't think they could do anything unlicensed. I don't think that's.
I would not. You need to. I need to send one to CGC and see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll know what it is.
Well, they'd probably send it back because
if they graded it.
There's no C with a circle in it anywhere. There's no indicia. There's no copyright claim in it anywhere. So
indicia right there
for DC Comics.
Yep,
that's fraud.
Yep,
there's no way they'd grade that. There's no way they'd grade that.
I'm gonna steal your money.
That's what I'm saying. There's no way they'd grade that because that's fraudulent. They don't have legal right from DC to print that.
Right, I'm going to send one in.
Good luck.
Talking of fraud, now here, right, I'm about to switch places with Kyle now because I have something. Here's another mystery of Splat comics. I bought a collection of comics. This the one? No, it's not. We've talked about it from the Welsh policeman. Do you remember the Welsh policeman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one was he in a wheelchair or something because he had a car accident, motorbike accident.
Good memory, Gray. Good memory, and he a beautiful 70s collection of Marvel. Was there any details? It was exclusively Marvel.
Right, there is an old.
But also,
what
he had the Ealing comedy about probably me running around stealing all your money. Also, he had Marvel UK stuff, including the Mighty World of Marvel.
Identity theft. Yeah, you can't get around that.
Yeah, but Kyle, I absolutely agree that it's copyright fraud, but I also tell you now for a fact that British cops are too busy going around arresting grandmothers who accuse someone of being a tranny rather than doing any kind of fucking criminal investigation.
You've got a comic made in 1990 that infringes copyright law from 1953 from World's Finest. You must be joking. They can't even
laugh at you.
They can't even investigate burglaries.
Well, and again, it would depend on how much money is changing hands.
Yes,
if it's $200, nobody cares.
No.
If it's $10,000, somebody gives a shit.
Yeah.
And if you do the math, the numbers are going to be.
Now let me tell you a story now, Kyle. Let me tell you a story that'll make your hair curl, even though you haven't got any. When I was a financial controller at my last job, after something like 18 months, something didn't quite. Actually, after about 18 minutes, I told the owners that something was wrong with their IT spend. And I said, where are these 50 iPads that have been bought by the IT manager? There's only 100 employees in the business and 70 of them worked in the factory. And they said, oh, well, we probably give them out to customers at shows. We put some plans of our machines on them and give them out as freebies, probably something like that. And probably it was like 3 brothers and a father. They said, we probably had 2 each for the kids and this and that and the other. So yeah, no problem. I said, well, I can't see any iPads knocking around the business, so I'm interested. Anyway, roll forward a year or so, and the IT spend was always on my to-do list to get around to. And one day, I sat in, because I'm a financial controller, I sat there in my room with the girls in accounts there processing stuff. And the IT manager came in or something and walked out again. And then the girls spoke to each other, and I always listen to what my staff are saying because you pick up on all sorts. And they were giggling about something. I said, "What's happened?" They said, "Oh, Phil was his name. Phil, the IT guy's come in, and he's given us an invoice for that 90 quid thing that he bought, and he's given us on an email. And there's a photo. He always brings a photo of what he's bought, and it's some designer shoes for a woman." And it perfectly matches you know, the amount spent and the date and the transactions and all that. And he said he'll come back in a minute. He's given the wrong one. He's going to get the right one. So he came back in 5 minutes later with another one, which showed a picture of some IT equipment. And it was basically the same email, but instead of showing women's designer shoes, it showed some IT equipment. Yeah. I said, girls, what's going on here? And they said, oh, nothing. It's absolutely normal. Phil's got Phil, when the previous purchasing manager of the company got cancer and went off ill, Phil, the IT manager, took over the company credit card to buy stuff because the purchasing manager would just, you know, but the purchasing manager died. He never came back. So Phil's just kindly done us a favor and he's looked after purchasing on the credit card ever since. Not only that, they said, but he's opened up an Amazon account for us and an eBay account for us so we can buy stuff cheap for the factory and stuff. I walked down to the guy's office, and every time I ever walked into his office, he was such a weird guy. He was like really big, muscular, and cool looking. And whenever I'd walk into his office, he'd go like that, as if he just like tried to catch a feather in his arse. Like that. And I just thought he's such a nervous guy. Anyway, so I said, Phil, do us a favor. What's the password and login for the Amazon account? I don't know. I'll get it to you. I'll come back to you. I said, all right, fair enough. So he came back and he gave me the password to this and that. I says, and on this, there'll be the transaction history going back several years, Will. He said, oh, no, we've not been doing it for long. It's only a couple of months or so at the most. I talked to the girls. I says, how long has this Amazon been going on? They said, oh, about 5 years or something. So I said, at that point, I knew that that was my lie. That was the lie I heard. I unraveled this. The IT manager had been using the company credit card and Amazon and eBay and falsifying invoices by doing the photo thing. So whatever he bought, he took a photo of IT equipment, photoshopped it over the whatever he had bought, and emailed that to accounts. Everything else matched, except the photo.
Did nobody wonder where all this IT equipment was?
That's what I didn't know, because I said at the beginning, where are all these iPads, right? Anyway, it turned out, once I unraveled it all, it was quite it was a long drawn out thing. He had spent £150,000 worth of company money
on strippers,
on stuff that had been delivered to either the office. So it's been all day long. People were arriving at the office at reception and carrying boxes through to his office. And late at night, he would take those boxes and put them in the boot of his car. And the fucker, what he was doing, he was using the company eBay account to resell them on eBay at a third of the price. It changed because he had control over the eBay account. He changed the payout to his own PayPal account. So he was making payments from the company, but then selling the stuff and receiving it and paying it onto his own PayPal account. Yeah. I don't know why this story, but it's something along the lines of, oh yes, I know why. So I nailed this guy. What did the owners say? What did the owners say when you presented? Well, they were horrified. Of course they were, but they one of them said, "Oh yeah, you did say something was weird with IT when you got here a year and a half ago." And I said, "Yes."
Was he prosecuted or did he just go?
Right. Well, let me just finish the story. It's not long to go. So I got hold of the eBay account and the Amazon account and the credit card. Right. All of the paperwork was there on eBay because I just went back and I got my girls to print the paperwork for 4 years or whatever it was from Amazon and eBay, and all the credit card stuff he'd emailed through, so it was all in our accounts inbox. So we printed it all out. You know them lever arch files?
Yeah.
There were 6 stacked this high with all the paperwork that he'd bought stuff on.
Yeah.
And I got hold of the cops, and the cops came and talked with me at length. I went down the cop shop on a Saturday or a Sunday I think it was, Sunday morning, and the cop said, can you come and work for us? Because I've never seen such a open and shut, huge wealth of evidence against someone. They said, this is You've done our entire job for us. This is a management position that this guy's been abusing for many years. He's going down for 8 years. No problem. He said 8 years at a minimum. To make an example, right? I left the company and I found out what happened in the newspaper. He got found guilty, pleaded that he'd been addicted. It was like a drug to him to keep buying. Once he got the card and he did it, he said the first one I did by accident, but then I became quickly addicted to buying these. Now, the things he was buying, PlayStation games, wine, shoes, toys for the kids, videos, DVDs. He even bought chocolate knickers for his girlfriend. Chocolate knickers.
Yeah, a
toys,
stripper
right?
sugar daddy.
And the big thing he was doing, the big ticket item was 500, they were called 550 or 500 SSD cards for computers. And he bought 50 of them. They're like £100 a time. So there was like 5
memory cards, you know?
Memory card sort of things. Yeah, very similar. Anyway, so they found him guilty, and this was what he had to this was what happened to him, right? Remember, the cops said slam dunk 8 years.
Community service.
3 months ankle tag to be served at home during lockdown of COVID when you couldn't leave the fucking house anyway. And he had to repay a significant portion of the money, £1.
What?
He walked away with a £149,000 profit. For that, and that, Kyle, why I'm telling you this is, so if someone's going to steal money to that extent, honestly, mate, the British justice system is fucked. No one gives a shit about someone selling some dodgy comics.
I thought there was a law about proceeds of crime being like taken off him. Surely he must have had all that money in his bank account.
No, well, he said he'd spent it, he'd given it away, he'd used it, because it was all on goods. It wasn't money; it was all in goods, right? Although some of it had been converted to money.
He got the money back when he sold it on eBay. So he must have.
Not only that. Listen to this: everything that he bought, he kept the records of, and he had to. He was living with his girlfriend, but he had a shitty old house in a shitty place in the town that I used to work in. It's a real rundown shit town. He emptied the house of all the stuff and took it to his girlfriend's house. Then he went on, he pretended to go on holiday for a fortnight and left the fucking front door open deliberately in the worst area of town and claimed that he'd been robbed and all of this had been stolen. And he claimed the entire value again on the insurance and got paid. Can you believe this?
At least that's worth breaking a law for. You know,
so he
got
break the law £1, and he had to wear an ankle bracelet during COVID when he couldn't leave the fucking house anyway. Yeah. There's justice for you.
I might break the law for £500,000, but I ain't breaking the law for 100.
We had a little scrote in the post office I was working, only like a kid, but he was like regularly like putting fake dockets through his account and paying money out and putting it straight in his pocket. So they'd say he'd have a pension docket for like £100, he'd put it through like 5 times, keep £400 for himself. And because they weren't checked that often, but eventually he staged a fucking robbery. He pretended he got robbed one day, and I thought it was a bit fucking suspicious, to be honest. He just handed over a fucking bundle of like £9,000 or something that he shouldn't have had in his till that much anyway. But then later when we found out about him like literally just fucking making up all these dockets, he must have been raking in thousands and thousands. And when he went to court, because there was some stupid fucking technical stuff to do with how the money is balanced and all that kind of stuff, like his lawyer just basically bamboozled the judge and the jury kind of thing, and he got off scot-free. So he got off with just fucking stealing shitloads of money from the post office. And there you go.
And this shit's happening all the time, day after day after day, in every court up and down the land, Grey. The system's completely fucked. Completely fucked. So, look, that's what my opinion is anyway. Anyway, so here's back to what I was about to show you. Right, so this police guy, he had in his collection Mighty World of Marvel from #1. And so when I picked the stuff up, he said, you can have these as well. Mark, you know what these are?
No, no idea.
The Iron-Ons. They're iron-ons, aren't they?
These are transfers, iron-on transfers, given away free with Mighty World of Marvel #2.
Right. Why have you got 2 of them?
Well, that's what I'm going to be asking, right? Because I think I've only got 1 copy of Mighty World of Marvel #2 from him. Yeah. So yes, why has he got 2? Although sometimes when they just used to slip things in, they might slip to him by accident. So it might have been luck.
Yeah.
But if you look for this and you look hard enough, you see at the bottom it's got it's got Spidey trademark 1972. You can't see it because it's in reverse because it's iron on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are transfers without that on. Mm-hmm. Now, in a Facebook group for English comics, it alleges that this is a fake. These 2 are fake, and the one without the trademark is genuine. Now, I'm kind of like really struggling with this concept because why the fuck would anyone fake this? I can understand them faking it if they did it in the last few years because it might change the price by 20 quid. But surely that costs way more than 20 quid.
It costs more than 20 quid to make that nowadays.
I don't think they're fakes. I don't think they're fakes. I reckon someone else made a batch of them legally, and they had that copyright thing on them. But they weren't. They're just not originals from that particular comic. I'm guessing rather than actually being fake. I can't imagine anyone would make them just to put them and pretend that they came out of the comic book. I wouldn't imagine that would be worth the effort.
The cost of redoing those, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Well, furthermore, this collection was bought from a policeman who bought everything from the newsagent. He didn't buy back issues.
Yeah, those aren't fakes.
That's an oversight that's not going to happen. If it came in a Marvel book, it's going to be trademark Marvel.
But there do exist transfers that look a little bit different, and they don't have the thing on the bottom.
It's just a printing thing. It's just that some of them would have been. It's just a printer's error.
I reckon that one of 2 possibilities. One, maybe that same transfer was given away in a different comic of similar period.
That was my fault.
Maybe, and so therefore, this wasn't inside the comic, but so I looked at what this was. Maybe it was given away with Power #1 or something, and so I don't know. So that's one option.
Yeah.
And the other one is maybe Marvel UK printed some of these, and halfway in quality control, someone said, "Oh fuck, you've left off the copyright thing on the bottom," so they quickly changed it.
Yeah, I think that's more likely.
That's probably what happened. Yeah.
So I don't think one is a fake, but that is what's going round in the comic book groups on Facebook.
You just have to work out the financial logistics of that.
I know it's mental.
How much would it cost you to fake that?
I know. The only thing that I'll tell you what, there is something worth faking, which I've thought of, but I'm not doing it. I've thought
an orgasm.
A friend of mine has a 3D printer, and I have a 2000 AD space spinner. Space spinners sell for £100 plus.
Yeah, that would be worth doing.
It's worth doing, but
if you get the right shade of plastic.
Yeah, it is made of plastic, but not rigid plastic. It's a bit floppy. Mine is genuine because it has dog chewing it. And here's another one that came with something else. I can't remember what with. One of the Spider-Man Marvel UKs. And that's also some kind of a sticky transfer. Look, you can see.
Yeah.
That's where it's gone yellow, I think, where the
air got to the glue.
But further on, it'll still be white.
I got some transfers on my comic shelf up there that I took out of a comic called Team Up, Marvel Team Up. The first 2 issues, issue 2 and 3, came with a sticker, and they're stuck to my drawers still. They've been stuck there.
Oh, you've used them! Oh my God, great! They're worth $1 million each.
I stuck them to the bloody. They're stickers. You got to stick them to something. I don't think they're worth anything.
Yeah, all my bookshelves are covered in stickers, but if I had one of those, I wouldn't take it out and stick it on there.
No, not now. No, if you picked up a comic and it had some stickers in it, you know to leave them in there to keep the price if you wanted to. But screw it. I've got so many stickers from Splat Comics. I don't need any more.
They're all
First
fake. They're
tornado.
from China.
Yeah. First red tornado.
Do you know how few comics we've shown today?
I showed a couple.
Hey, but I started it by showing a comic.
What number's that, Darren?
66.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try not to get it.
This is the last box. The last box of that collection I bought. Do you remember?
Yeah.
The one with the force. With the jumbo sailor that then started collecting them from the newsagent. So these are the jumbo sailor ones. 77. Now there are some items in here which Mark might be interested in, but it's getting late. So how tired can I make you tonight? Me and Mark sat up for 2 hours last week after the show.
Did you? Bloody hell.
He was giving me excellent business advice.
Who did?
Along the lines of, "You fucking idiot!"
Who did that for 2 hours with you?
I was trying to convince Darren. He was just being anally retentive and not business.
Not about taking over the world with his comic shop.
Similar. Unfortunately, Mark.
Oh, you decided to go against my advice.
Is that 94?
It is 94.
That's worth quite a bit of money.
Why?
The backup story by Bert Christman, that's only one of 2 Sandman stories he ever did before he died in World War II. And the first one was printed when he first appeared. That wasn't printed till then. That's a Golden Age story that never saw print until right then. That's an extraordinarily rare book. The guy that produced that died early in World War II.
So in our
only 2 original Sandman stories.
In our 2-hour business meeting, Mark, I didn't have all the facts in my head, and because I need to go, I told you I was going to go away and think things through.
Yeah.
And I did think of something quite important, why I'd gone down the 1 product per 1 item thing.
Right, why?
Which is, at one future point, I want to integrate my shop with eBay.
Oh, right. Yes, okay. Well, that's fair enough.
That you've immediately seen how important it is.
Yeah, no, I know how important it is, yeah.
We all know you're immediately going to Thailand in 3 years anyway, mate. So don't go on about it. Don't pretend you're going to take over the world. You're going to go to Thailand.
I don't think you want to integrate. Your whole model does not work on eBay commission.
Correct, but so this is something I've thought of for such a long time, and this is also why I've been trying to get every single item I've got onto the shop before I sort of relaunch. Is that eBay costs you a bloody fortune if you list a lot of items, like more than if you go for more than 500 items, you'll pay a fortune. Yeah. But there's a way around it, and the way around it is to open the shop.
I've opened the shop, and you get it. Yes, so you get them. Yeah. I've got an eBay shop.
105.
105. What's special? That's 105. What's special about the copy of 105 that you have?
It's his special copy.
He got it from me. He should remember.
He loves it and keeps it and looks after it. That's what's special about it.
That's the one that's signed by Len Wein and Nick Carty.
What?
Well, inside?
That's the one I sold to Mark or traded to Mark.
Oh, yeah, there it is, yeah.
I haven't got it.
They've signed it twice.
That's the Nick Carty autograph that you got?
Yeah, I've got it, but he hasn't got it.
That's what I said. I said, Mark, what does that look familiar to you? What is your copy?
Yeah.
I said, what does your copy have on it?
You got to think 3 fucking steps for fucking connections for just connections.
I asked Mark what his copy has on it.
Oh, that's not
Mark's copy has
about that
Nick
copy.
Carty and Len Wein's autograph on it.
So, Mark,
I didn't say what does Darren's copy have on it. I said, Mark, what does your copy have?
What number that one?
I still think
109.
I'm afraid, Darren. I'm still.
Let me know when you
I'm your project manager. I'm still going. That's a fair point, mate. But let's do it down the road. You don't.
No,
want
I haven't finished the bloody thing that I need to tell you because the guys just fucking give it all this. So the thing is, I don't want to use eBay in the long term.
No.
I only want to use because eBay, a shop, right? So a shop has 3 levels: basic, intermediate, and top.
Yeah.
I've got so many items. When I finish doing what I'm doing this time, it'll be 40 to 50,000 items. But I want to get 80 to 100,000 items on there. Now, if there's a shop level which is unlimited items.
Okay.
I want to use. It costs £500 a month shop rent on eBay. But on that volume of items, it's a very small pence per effort, right? There's a reason for doing this. eBay is where there is an enormous amount of comic collectors who've never heard of Splat comics.
Of course. For
1 month, and 1 month only, I want to put my entire catalogue on eBay as an advert because I've done the math before about how many. There's like, I don't know, however many million comics there are on eBay. I would have 2% on if I put everything on. 2% of it. Now, that's 1 in 50 items on there is an advert. Now, I might sell a couple, but I don't care about that. What I want to use, I'm more than happy to spend 500 quid to get an extra 500 people to know I exist. And that would be why I'd use eBay, simply for the advert. And then the next month, cancel my shop, which you can do. You don't have to commit to more than a month. Cancel my shop and then use my website. And that's the entire eBay strategy.
Not sure.
These are big fat ones, by the way. These are beautiful conditions.
They are very nice, these.
Really, really nice spines.
We got into the 130s yet?
It's 115.
Okay.
So this is something I've thought about for ages, Mark. So it's like, it's one of these things where if it fails, I'm okay, but I really want to try it because it's I just know there's a whole world on eBay that's buying comics that have never even heard of me.
Oh, it's huge. I'm one of eBay's top 50 comic sellers, by the way. And I've only sold about $5,000 worth through them.
You need to go and check out his finances, Darren. He's probably ripping himself off. He's probably buying things off of Amazon, selling them on eBay, and
charging them to me.
Calling them iPads.
It's end of February. It's my end of my financial year, and I've got to submit my accounts to the Inland Revenue.
Is it different for businesses than it is for individuals?
Yes. So my business runs to the end of February. So it runs, whereas personal accounts run to the end of March.
All right.
Yeah, I have to employ an accountant.
Wow. Do I get a mention in your tax return as like expenses?
No, no. I actually don't record you as anything.
Yeah, because you pay me in comics anyway, not cash. So
I pay you in comics, exactly. They wouldn't understand it.
What number's that one?
126.
Okay, you're getting closer.
So
guys, I'm going. I'll see you again next week. Good show.
Don't run off yet, Mark. I've got someone to tell you just, and then you can go.
All right.
So latest news is at 6 o'clock tonight, I bagged, boarded, and graded the last Marvel comic. And in the last couple of days, I've advertised for staff to help me do the next stage, and I've already found 2, and they're starting on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday.
Oh, brilliant!
Oh, I don't mess about. But they're only going to do.
Darren, no. Let's be quite clear about this. There has been a lot of messing about in the last 18 months.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, in fact, it was a complete lie because the correct quote would have been, "I do mess about."
Yeah, exactly. But it sounds like you're getting serious now. So, what are the 2 people going to be doing? Bagging? Going to be photoing?
No, it's they're here for the stock take.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got to merge 20,000 comics into alphanumeric order before they arrive.
What number are we in now?
That was 131.
We're getting
What
there,
number
getting
you
there.
after, Gray?
Hold on.
That's 133. I think you said 135.
132 and 133.
That's 133.
Oh, put it on my pile, please.
I'll stick it down here for now. So, what? So they're here. That's 134. They're here for the stock take, right, Mark? Which is simply once I've alphanumerically sorted everything, I stand here going through the boxes, shouting out how many I've got of every comic. I've already got a pre-populated list of the titles. They just have to put a number in the box for the count. Once they've done the count, they disappear. I don't need them anymore. And then I do the photos myself. And then depending on which of the decisions about how I decide to do it, I might try to. What's that one? That was 2211. Something else now, Gray.
Yeah, or something else. That's no good to me.
No, I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to try to do the one where I perfectly align 20,000 comics with 20,000 photos and just upload them and match them. Ooh, this is very risky. High risk strategy. Big reward.
How do you take your photos?
I've got a camera, obviously. And it's got like a stand, and it's got an auto photo timer thing. Mm-hmm. So when I start taking the photos, it's set to 6 seconds. But after I've got into the swing of it, I set it to 4 seconds. So that photo is taking a photo. That camera taking a photo every 4 seconds. I line up 2 boxes like I do here, and I just have to do this show. And I've got a stand to put them on. So I just put them. It's like a set square. So you just corner it up, and it takes.
Yeah. I've got the same thing. So how do you then get them? I know you send this away. Oh, that's a beauty. That's
the slave.
Yep.
In nice nick.
That's a cool one.
It is very nice. I've got that, but it's not in that sort of grade.
That is a freaking beautiful. That is. Oh shit. Some people might call it a near mint minus.
Yeah,
that's a kinky cover.
That's worth some money.
And it is a kinky cover. Yeah, put it on my pile, please. I've got that already, but it's nowhere near that grade.
Just a minute. So anyway, what were you saying about the photos?
So how do you link the photos with the item?
Right. So so my old system was on the shop. You've got a field called image, and you put the URL of the image in, but the URL, you already upload the images to the shop. And so when the images are on the shop, you have to link them with the URL on the product. Now, the problem is you can't see the photo while you're doing it. It'd be mental. So you have to do it by Excel. So you have to sort of do it electronically. Otherwise, you'd be there a million years. So that's why. So I've got the stock list with the exact correct name, and a photo with like number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just a random photo number, and I send them in batches of 1,000 to Pakistan or India, with the stock list for 1,000, the same 1,000. And then a Pakistan or Indian person simply has to check, and they have to take the whatever's in the Excel file, they have to copy paste it and replace the name of the photo one by one. So it's a shitty way to do it. It's all manual, and it comes back 98% correct. And 1,000 photos might cost me a tenner because it's like £2 an hour or something. It might cost me 20 quid. I don't know. But and then once the photo has been named to the same name as the comic, as the product, all I have to do is a little bit of Excel, copy that to there and put .jpg on the end or whatever it is, and then just upload it. And once the images are already there, the products are there, and you just upload the link, and that's it. It's done. So that's the old way. The new way, and this is the dangerous way. Is
that by the way, is now a key. That character is appearing in the Superman movie.
What, the one with no arms and legs?
Yeah, the quarterback. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. So the new way is that I know that the camera takes the number assigned to the image that's taken by the camera is an integer with a time and a date stamp on the end. So basically, I can ignore the time and date stamp and just use the integer. And if I know the first comic on the stock list, that's the first photo taken, then I can use that as the name of the URL thing, just that. And so 1,000 items later, it's added 1,000 to the integer. Excel will work it, but the difference is I have to do each line of the Excel file has to be one comic and one comic only, and the order in the Excel file must be the precise same order as the comics in the box.
Yeah, Darren, unfortunately, Kyle is showing you stuff from his dead cat.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Had this stuff in front of me, so I'm just getting it out of my system.
Fair enough.
So that is the gain of that, Mark, is I don't have to pay anyone in Pakistan to do it, and it doesn't take a month for them to do it. So I save a month and I save, I don't know, 1,000.
Some money.
The risk is if I screw it up, then the photos on the shop are all over the place in relation to
work. You'll have to delay your launch.
Yeah.
Hey,
Do you not like do a test run, like do like 100 off like a test run and see it works, proof of concept and all that?
Look at that. That's really high grade as well.
I'm really happy with the proof of concept, Greg. It totally will work. But the problem is, even if I'd proven the concept like that, which is a good idea, by the way, don't get me wrong, it would only take me to accidentally take 2 photos of the same comic or me to miss one comic, and the numbers of the images are fucked up.
That's the problem.
And so what you have to do is you have to put in milestones. So every 500 comics, you have to do a check to see you're still aligned.
Yeah.
And if you're fucked up,
yeah,
you've got to fix it somehow. And usually, if you figure out how you're screwed up, it's easy. You just add 1 to the number, or you take 1 off the number, or you don't have to retake the photos. But it gets where it gets really tricky, and this is the bit I was talking to you about, Mark, last week, is when you've got like 3 comics of the same grade.
Yeah.
3 identical comics, because
yeah.
You've got 3 photos and 3 comics. But if you said like Batman number 200 in fine condition, I've got 5 of, and you got 5 images. They're going to be 5 items on the shop, and I want to make sure that the customer gets the comic that he saw in the image when he put it in his cart.
Yeah, you're too good. Right, I'm off. See you guys.
Yeah, mate. See you soon.
We just got to the pile that was for you.
Nah, that you keep delaying me. No, I'm going.
He's gone. He's gone.
Well, do you want to carry on, Gray, or do you want to leave it?
No, we might as well leave it. I suppose. Might as well finish it up now. Might as well finish it up.
Okay, well that's cool, because I think that Mark.
I'm moving stuff off my table, so
right, and I'm just
going on your pile.
Yep, that's cool. Yeah,
been a funny show again.
Yeah, it's been all right. We shown some stuff, talk some rubbish.
Lots of rubbish.
The beats sitting at home staring at the walls, isn't it?
It sure does, yeah.
I'm trying to muster any energy I can to get the rest of the stuff needed done today, because
all right, mate.
I'm getting sedated and not waking up tomorrow until like midnight.
Yeah. Good luck, mate. See you soon, Darren.
Cheers. You haven't ended the show yet, great.
No, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.